actually defends against, and then be realistic about what has already been routed around prior to its activation.
It defends against slow erosion of Bitcoin's ethos.
Okay, I mean, so that again, I mean, I think that is also, a lot of people have that opinion, and that's fine, but that's not an opinion that most people share, and so I don't think that's going to be a winning argument when you're trying to build widespread support.
Bitcoin ethos, I heard a lot of it about Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Cash back in the days. It's the same thing. They were saying, we should ossify everything. We should go backwards. We should not have even SegWit, because at the end of the day, SegWit was really the mother of all the problems. It wasn't Taproot. And so why don't you just adopt Bitcoin SV or Bitcoin Cash and push for ossification?
Yeah, nice straw man, dude. Everybody's going to believe that.
So what is this Bitcoin ethos that people keep talking about? Can you define it? Can you describe it? Can you point to its origin?
It's basically not having a faggot ass profile picture.
Hey, I do.
Oh, well, too bad.
Shinobi, if you don't mind. Dave. We got some great technical minds here, and I have great respect for that. I wanted to just say, and that has the ethos part has been on my mind simply because, say what you will, Bitcoin is a subset of culture, and all the things we live through, it does. We on the surface, Calle, Shinobi, we hate wherever we see centralization, right? Just we have it's the knee jerk is going to be sort of anti-central, and there was it did smell, with the way things unfolded that. They were centralizing, and they're, between blue math and, the way Gloria got pushed through and stuff.
I don't think so, Greg. I think that's propaganda, largely.
Okay. Well, that's why I want to, it seemed to me because I was
Greg,
living it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask you one question after saying one thing. Gloria was responsible for pay to anchor, for a lot of the package relay work, for shit that actually fixed serious problems with the mempool that had massive consequences for all layer 2s. That is a serious project with massive consequences. Can you name a single thing equivalent to that Jon Atak did or has worked on or has driven over the line?
I hope Gloria has a long and she kind of shakes this off.
No, because Greg, I asked you a question. Can you point to a single project that Jon Atak has worked on at that level of importance and seriousness?
So Shinobi, I'm fucking old and I'm not technical, and I come to this ideologically.
Just say no.
Well, that's my point, Greg. Yeah. This is a technical discussion.
But
ideology is irrelevant here. And I'm sorry for the garbage truck.
No. So I guess I just wanted to say, this business of we're trying to have this robust system that. Oh, I'm glad Neil's back here.
But Greg, the ultimate.
Wait. Let's not do the interrupting, Shinobi.
Fight compared to the big fights that are coming with the nation state and all these things. So this is a little dust up.
Well,
right?
Dude, I interrupted because I asked you a question that you dodged.
Well, no, I do, but I do.
And I asked that specific question for a reason.
No, I think
I am technically competent. I am technically competent. I can look at what these developers are actually working on and judge based on their work and not reputations and secondhand labels. And I can say from that place of competence, it took me 10 minutes to decide Gloria is one of the smartest fucking engineers I've ever met working in this space. The idea that she was just nepotismed into a position or pushed through is ridiculous. Luke himself, when everybody nominated Gloria, joked that she had no choice in taking the position. The implication being her competence was that obvious.
No, I don't want to play. I would want nothing but I'm not even arguing that. But there was like this. You're not going to deny that there were these forces at work in the broader society. And Neil,
No, there were forces at organizations whose job is to find the most competent people
but they
and
did
fund
filter
them.
out,
And
and
what
so
they did was find an
and
incredibly
then like the
competent
whole like
person and
Newberry thing
fund
isn't
her.
cool.
Dude,
So anyway,
who gives a
Neil's got more
fuck?
questions.
No, Greg, stop right now because you are attacking somebody's
I
competence and
am not
character
attacking.
and then just deflecting from every fucking question I ask, every fucking thing I'm doing to actually pull a simple
No, I'm sure
statement
she's
out of you.
incredibly
You keep
competent. I don't
admitting
have
that everything I'm saying is true,
yes.
debunking her incompetence, but then you circle
That's
back
what I'm
and
saying.
keep trying to cling to the claim that she is incompetent. That
I am
is
not.
intellectually dishonest.
You're talking too much, Shinobi. Can we get Neil? I want to see if he's got more questions.
Okay, but wait,
But why
just
don't
one
you
second
answer the question in the first place
you guys to circle
instead of
back,
dodging
right?
it?
To circle back, the claim was that there was centralizing forces, and I think you were referring to like core and the decisions they were
Well,
making,
Brink, and
right?
just like the way things are shaping up, and even I think for me, the
Okay,
interesting
but
question is
what
Dorsey.
decisions specifically are driving what specific decisions are driving that
Well,
thought of yours
okay,
or that
so I
feeling
want
of
to just
yours?
let me have it just 1 second. Like you do have Dorsey, and he's got more money than what he knows what to do with, and seemingly he's funding both sides. And so in that way, but he is like in that way because of his money, he's causing human action. And like you would be almost like as a Bitcoiner, you would be against the human action on either side of the
What are
line.
you talking about?
Well,
The
isn't it?
one
Do I have that wrong?
person,
That
rather
Dorsey's
than
funding,
spending his money himself,
right?
is
But I mean,
giving it
isn't he funding?
unilaterally giving it to more people, to a more distributed group of people who will make their own independent decisions on how to spend it instead of just keeping it all himself. So he is the only one making those decisions. Like, what the hell are you talking
So
about?
then you're like, okay, just let me think this through here. So like you've got Jack, and like he's evidently funding Luke, and he's funding others too. And so, but like you would be suspicious because we all know how like we're coming at this new world of being most people aren't. You know what it's like to get a job at Microsoft or Apple or whatever. There's bosses and
No,
hierarchies.
I don't.
Well, I'm just saying most of us do. And so this is a whole different animal. Like when you give money, you expect people to do things for you.
No,
I
that's the
don't
exact
actually
opposite of
think in
what's
this
happening.
case
He's
he
giving people
does.
money
Yeah.
to do whatever they want with it, specifically
Well,
so that people who don't have
because he
money to do
trusts.
things now have money to do whatever they want. So that more people can independently decide what to do with funding rather than him single-handedly making all the decisions. That entire choice is improving
And
decentralization of these organizations because rather than one person, Jack, making all the decision, he's giving his money away to everyone else so that everyone
no
else
strings
can make
attached.
their own decision.
And then
But
further,
generally
when you pull at
definition.
that string, Greg, when you pull at the string and you actually look what they're working on, right? The people who are getting funded, what is it that they're working on? If you actually look at it and you're not just repeating propaganda, you you start to
I
realize they're
really
working on important shit.
myself.
Most of the stuff being worked on is actually BS, to be honest. Like there will be
Dave, most of the stuff being worked on is making your job possible.
that's
You
And
incorrect.
wouldn't
how is
have a
it even
job.
relevant?
You wouldn't have a job, giving Arc and Lightning liquidity to treasury companies if it wasn't for the work that was done
I
on
say
core
that
and its
like
policies.
that. No, I'm saying that a lot of stuff being worked on is just pure BS to fool VC money into the
Like what, Dave,
a
specifically?
lot of things. A lot of
Like
things.
what? No, like what? I want to
Like
hear it. I
IBD
mean,
optimization
like the
so that we can
L2s.
still
Is that what you
bootstrap
think?
nodes, like L2
Wait,
work, like Wicked said, like post-quantum cryptography if we
I'm
need
gonna
it.
answer first. Okay.
Wait. Okay. So,
So
Shinobi,
you can
let's
tell
Dave.
me
What specifically? Go ahead.
you can tell me a few things being worked on that are so important.
Wait. Are you flipping it, or do you want to answer what things
I
are
already
not
pre-answered the
important?
flip. Like that's already, we're done. We're past the flip. The flip has already been
Yeah, but
answered. It's flipped
Tell
back to
us,
you
Dave.
already.
Dave,
so
yeah, man,
example
tell
like
us.
eCash, and that's I have nothing against that, and Cashew, that's great for UX and all that. But what else is being worked on? Name like 3 things being
Constant
worked on.
work on IBD
People asked you.
optimization so that people can still bootstrap a node.
You said it already. Let's hear it from Dave. He's a man. He can answer a normal question.
I am asking you guys, and we'll see if you
No. You were asked, bro.
Dude,
we're not stupid.
This
Come on,
was
you were
already
asked.
answered like 30 seconds ago. Like literally.
Yeah. So tell us, Dave, what do you think? What's being prioritized here?
I don't focus on the projects that don't make sense for Bitcoin, so I would.
So you say things about things that you don't have any opinions about or don't know what the content.
Nice.
Anyway, so I'll offer a different perspective. I think this is like getting a bit wishy-washy. It's like too much woo for me. What is this whole ethos of Bitcoin like, and how does it translate to technical changes? I'm like still grappling with this because like in my.
I'll explain it to you. There's no problem.
No. I'm not asking you. I want to
hear the truth, but that's another story, right?
No. Just let me talk like normal grown-ups, then you can talk later. I wonder, like, why does a change in Bitcoin need to be motivated by something unspecific, like an ethos? Because in my mind, Bitcoin's ethos hasn't changed since 2009. Since Satoshi invented Bitcoin, nothing has changed. The idea was decentralization, permissionlessness, and that's basically it. We do what we want. So, and the way to implement this needed some technical breakthroughs. Otherwise, you don't get decentralization and permissionlessness. And we've achieved it with proof of work, limited block times, all that consensus stuff. So we have achieved it. What else do we need to further that ethos? Now,
you're kind of missing what I'm saying. Like you're trying to make.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you because this has been said multiple times. There's always this escape hatch for people who say, "I'm not a technical person. I just want to talk about the wishy-washy stuff. I want the changes in Bitcoin that prove, my undefinable kind of like soft view of what Bitcoin should be, and those hard technical changes should support that undefinable ethos that people call.
Are you saying trust the scientists? Where have I heard that before?
Kalle, can I talk about the ethos for 1 second? I just want to say one thing. A very long time ago, very long time ago, and I fully remember it because I totally embraced it. There was this saying, money is merely the first app. Andreas was using it all the time. Jim Sunlop was using it all the time. A lot of people were using it all the time. So the ethos at the time, and I'm talking maybe 2013 or 2011 maybe, it was that everything will be on Bitcoin. And you know who embraced that? It's Knut, who coined that infinite over 21, right? Or 21 million, sorry. And Knut now is saying, but we only want money. We don't want to have anything on the blockchain. But at the same time, he was the one who said infinite over 21 million because he was saying it's gonna encompass everything. It's gonna take over everything, which was the ethos for 15 years already. So this is part of the ethos. You want the other ethos is peer-to-peer, which is again what Roger Ver and the Bcash people were saying. We're losing now it's like a settlement layer. We're losing the peer-to-peer and everything. What is bringing peer-to-peer today? Scripting, Miniscript, Cashew, BitVM, Lightning, of course. and so now the people are saying, we have to go back to the ethos. So which is it? Is it the ethos where everything is going to be on Bitcoin blockchain because Bitcoin blockchain is the best database ever?
Or it's going to be on Lightning and Arc, which is fine, but you don't like what you're trying to say is you're trying to separate the communities here. Like I am pro Lightning, I'm pro Arc, but I'm still pro BIP 110 because I'm not a fucking retard.
There's always been separation between the communities. Like everything that's just said, he didn't go far enough. Like there has never been a singular Bitcoin ethos. There was the fucking Silk Road, fucking darknet market. I'm going to fucking do whatever illegal shit I want ethos. There was the I just want cheap consumer payment ethos that the big blockers had. There was the fucking I just want to be able to self-validate, and this doesn't fucking mean shit if I can't do that. Like small blockers like me. There's the fucking hard money econ retards that came with Safedine in 2017 and don't understand or give a shit about any of the technical.
Hey, that's me.
There's the ordinals
That's me.
clowns who just fuck
No.
around and treat it like a fucking artboard. Like there has never been ever in the history of Bitcoin a singular Bitcoin ethos. There have been large groups of people that all have their own. I've been here like the last 12, 13 years, dude. I got here 3 years after fucking Bitcoin was invented. 4 years after.
That's
Like
the fallacy.
that was already the case back then.
Because
Back then, there was no singular ethos.
Like just because you've been a public figure in Bitcoin, that doesn't give you leverage over like plebs that have been anonymous and have
This isn't about
he's not talking about
leverage,
himself. He's just saying
Einstein.
that
This
the
is
entire time
about
he's been
what
here.
I witnessed firsthand myself. This is not about leverage or some weird egotistical power struggle. This is I was here and saw all this shit with my own two eyes. You didn't.
Hey,
do you know that,
Neil,
dude?
elbow your way in, please, Neil, if you can.
Hey guys. Hey, I just wanted to say a couple things, if I may. Look, I'm not a technical like you guys. You guys are way over my head in terms of all the nuances and technicalities. You know, I've been in Bitcoin for about 6 years now, and what I can say is I think, you know, just looking, like a step back and looking at both sides of the situation, I kind of agree with Shinobi in that, like, I think the biggest issue that, you know, Bitcoin has is that, like, they have these so-called communities that, like, oh, I believe this, and or, you know, I believe that. And the reality is, like, from what I've come to understand about Bitcoin, is that Bitcoin has no community. You know, it's like Bitcoin is money, it's decentralized money, and, you know, it's basically open for everybody, but not necessarily one viewpoint over another, is the right way, to handle it. And, you know, kind of goes back to like the BIP 110 thing. And again, I'm not a technicality. I'm just talking about very high level as how I'm interpreting it. It's like if it was created, you know, by Satoshi back in 2009 and it's worked, and you've had all these, you know, block wars or people with big influence try to change or steer in a different direction, that's always going to happen. And, you know, right now it's BIP 110. In the future, it's going to be like something else. But the reality is that if it works right now and, you know, it's continually working, then, any other influence outside of it is really unnecessary. And, you know, in terms of like how I'm seeing it, right? And so I think if we kind of get away from, it's like a big community and, you know, we all love one another and it's all fucking this kumbaya, to me, that's all bullshit. You know, because at the end of the day, if I don't like you or your position, well, you have the right to buy Bitcoin just like me. So it doesn't fucking matter, you know, what you think or believe. You still have the same access as I do. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, you know, maybe get some feedback on that, because to me, I mean, it's fairly easy to think about it. And, any kind of changes that people want to make because it improves whatever, to me, it's all bullshit.
I 100% agree with what you said. You said it so beautifully. Thank you for that. And I also believe that if it were not true what you just said, then Bitcoin wouldn't exist. It couldn't exist because human communities, human fucking slop, and you know, the fights that we have, the disagreements that we have, it changes literally every fucking year. You know, next year is going to be something else. If Bitcoin was so fragile to, you know, break down or change every time someone farted, which is what we're seeing now, like what people want, then we wouldn't have Bitcoin. That's why I'm like, I think the basics of Bitcoin are literally like very minimalistic. It is, you cannot change it, you cannot turn it off, you cannot prevent anyone from using it. And those things make Bitcoin, you know, will make Bitcoin survive in the long term and potentially forever. But if it was, you know, we need to agree on what our ethos is. We need to agree on that we, you know, want this or that property. And Bitcoin needs to adjust to our preferences that change every second year, then Bitcoin would be, already turned off many, many years ago.
The eCash king has spoken.
If Bitcoin works because people get along and agree, we don't need Bitcoin. We can just fix the dollar. We can just figure out some magical communist utopia because we can just fucking talk everything through and figure it out.
Yeah, all that stuff's already been done. But respects to Bitcoin because he got it right.
Or we can put everything on the layer 1, like Ethereum, and bloat it because we want to do eCash and we want to do BitVM and we want to do everything on L1 and then see what happens and people are fighting. Same shit.
That?
But
like,
going back to what Calle was saying a few minutes ago, at the end of the day, if you want to attack it, you attack it by using human and social. And this is exactly what's happening.
You got to replace the word ethos with narrative. And then ask yourself, who's in control of the narratives? It's the Bitcoin maxis and the cypherpunks. They always been in control.
I just want to jump in here and kind of hit on why I think Calle and I are kind of talking past each other in a little bit about these like attacks. You're coming from it from this particular angle, and I'm coming at just from the bottom of the principle. And I think an interesting way analogy kind of to explain why I'm coming from this is like, so in war, like we're in war, we have like different jammers, we have defensive mechanisms, and like when we're jamming, we're flooding, we're closing the envelope of frequencies that can move and pass. And it's like the principle is to flood the zone and restrict it as much as possible, that to the point that it doesn't impede my own operation. So like, I guess that's the principle. Like I
get that, Neil. Just like really short, like very brief logic check. Are we in the same universe? Because we just exchanged the exact same thing a few minutes ago. You do agree that no jammer is ever able to prevent all spam, right? You do see kind of the math in front of you.
Yep, agree.
Yeah, so why do you still make those analogies? Like, how can you put these two things into your brain at the same time?
Because there's still a benefit. It's still valuable to run the jammer.
It's not, Neil, because it's predicated. Neil, that is predicated on the idea that the jammer adds a material cost. That the difference between not running that jammer and running that jammer makes a material difference in the cost. It does not. BIP 110 literally makes 0.5% of a cost increase in inscribing arbitrary data. 0.5%. That is not any disincentive at all. And you cannot just keep escalating the jammers because the ultimate endpoint is restricting things to pub keys, which, if my math is correct, I believe is like 15 to 20%. And that is as high as you can go. That is the most you can raise the costs for these people, and it is fundamentally impossible to raise them any higher. Degenerate gamblers are not going to give two shits about paying 20% more to put some junk data on chain to gamble with. It is a non-existent disincentive, and that is the maximum disincentive you can create. It is not possible to build a more effective jammer.
See, but I understand that, but I'm not talking about like honest action. I'm talking about people that will pay anything, that don't give a shit about any economic incentives and want to damage the network.
But that's the point.
Neil, this is why we have a block size limit.
Destroy your enemy.
Like Neil, this is why we have a block
will.
Size limit. Like, this is why the block size limit exists. This is not some new problem. Spam is not some new thing that was just invented 3 years ago on Bitcoin. It is a decades-old problem in every type of computer system that exists talking to each other. This is a very well understood problem, and there are exactly two ways to solve it. You add an economic cost. We did that. That's what the block size limit is. Or you introduce trust and authority, and you filter out everybody who is not whitelisted by that authority. And that is absolutely unacceptable non-starter with Bitcoin. So we already have done one thing that we can do, and the other thing that we can do destroys Bitcoin. That's it. Like, this is not a new thing. This is a decades old, well understood thing in computer science.
This is actually a super interesting thought experiment, like just to grok this problem, because as Shinobi just said, this has been an issue since the beginning of like the internet or even anything that is digital, basically. And we know for a fact that you cannot filter. We established this already in this conversation multiple times, that you cannot produce filters that can block any way of putting data into a kind of database storage, whatever it is. So the only known solution to mankind so far that doesn't use authority is proof of work. This is what made Bitcoin possible in the first place. So, this is kind of, I think it's almost funny, because the solution to inventing Bitcoin is fixing the spam problem. Before Bitcoin, you couldn't build a blockchain basically that is capped in the speed of its evolution, which means you couldn't build a blockchain that prevents it from growing indefinitely forever. And Satoshi had to find a solution that makes this possible. So it is already solved. This is what people mean by the only way to prevent spam is proof of work / fees. Fees are
with the difficulty adjustment as well.
With a difficulty adjustment, yes.
And I'm just going to have to disagree. Like, this idea of stopping and preventing and all.
Dude, no, you do not get to walk into a 70-year-old field of science and look at a decades-old established set of facts and just go, no, I disagree. Like, no, you don't just get to do that, because I'm not going to take you seriously in this interaction on any fucking level from this point forward. You are a clown.
Hey, he's been very respectful. Come on.
All right, come on, Shinobi.
Let's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about principles, and I don't know. Like, if you want to talk about stopping, I grant all that. I'm still saying I'm going to flip the switch. Like, I'm not going to turn off.
You're doing what Greg did earlier. You go, you're right, but, and then you repeat the thing that is now established as not factually correct by you admitting that I'm right.
And I get to say what basically, I view Bitcoin as the war of all against all. So we're here now fighting one another. It's not about warm fuzzies. Your rhetorical style, Shinobi, is, I don't mind it. I really think it probably is healthy in large measure, but I do see it as just you're all like your rhetoric and like the way of interrupting and dropping F-bombs.
It's not rhetoric. It's logical argumentation.
No, everything.
Earlier, I'm going to break down.
I remember like everything you're doing,
Greg.
Yeah.
No, you just dismissed everything I said as empty and substanceless. You just dismissed everything I said as substanceless and empty. And now I'm going to respond to that and break down again why it's not substanceless and why it's not
in some ways,
empty.
I think you just like keep.
Greg,
You remember, like there was this guy.
No, I don't play this game, Greg. I don't play this game where tone of voice is the only thing that matters, defining civility. Your tone of voice is not the only thing that decides whether you're being civil or polite or honest. How you actually engage and the substance of what you say defines those things.
Hey, come on, have some respect for
that. And he would just talk over everyone until I was there. And he would just have the room, and then like it died, and then he would just keep talking. And so that's the style.
To be fair, you're both.
You claimed that Gloria became a developer due to nepotism.
Of 16,
after that statement, you conceded to me. You conceded
let him talk so that he can ridicule
himself. And he would
get tired eventually.
he would hold court. The only thing he would do
I'll
is
do this
simply
all
until
day,
everybody,
Greg. I
he had
don't
this
care.
ability
I am
to
not here to
essentially
LARP as a
overtalk
public
everyone
personality
until
and
he had
get people to
exhausted them.
like
And it was
me.
just
I'll
hysterical
do
because at
this
the end of the
all
guy,
day.
this
I
guy who would just
don't
come
give
in and
a
he would
shit.
for a Clubhouse. He held court in Clubhouse for years
I
and
have
years.
never been
Then he
on
would
Clubhouse
sell at the
once,
very
you fucking
bottom of
clown. Like,
Bitcoin. So like he
literally,
would then
where do you
like he would
people come up
show
with
his
this
ability to.
completely
What the
So
fuck is
like
this?
what
fabricated
we're doing
Performance
here
shit?
is
art or what's going on?
I have
we're
never
jamming. This is
been
a
on
jamming, and this is
Clubhouse
Shinobi's way.
once,
This is what he does. He
ever,
jams. He's
in my
jamming around
entire
It's
with
not
life.
effective though,
Like, you
Greg.
Yeah,
just
It's not
because
actually
made
jamming
that
though.
up.
and
You
so
just
I just like
straight
at
up
some level, it's like
fabricated
we've got a
that
a
Can you
sort of
please,
assertion.
everyone,
signal
shut the fuck
list.
up?
Like we've turned the space into
Like,
Please.
something that
you are
doesn't
a
have
What the
signals
clown.
fuck?
because of like Shinobi will not shut the fuck up ever.
You are a client.
You are
No, I
fucking
will
like
not
this is
shut
your
the
it's a
fuck up
tactic,
when
dude.
somebody
So I
just
don't know where you
dismisses
picked up this
very
tactic. As
logical,
I don't know if
meticulous
it's effective
statements
or not.
as
I don't think
substanceless
it
and
is.
rhetoric.
It is
No,
basically
I
what
will not be
it is from
quiet
like
when you try to play the
2021.
game
It
of
is the
I'm
Bitcoin.
using a calm
It like
tone of voice. So
it
my
was how Bitcoin
intellectually
Tina.
dishonest
This
dismissal
was how
and fucking
Bitcoin Tina
deflection
held.
of a
This is
careful
how he.
argument you
This is
just
how
made
he.
is just rhetoric.
This is
I
how
don't play
he
that game,
basically
Greg.
dominated
I don't give
Clubhouse.
a fuck.
You are
You are a
basically just Bitcoin
disingenuous,
Tina with
disrespectful piece of
you
shit.
are Bitcoin
You
Tina with
think that
a
just
little bit
doing it in a
more.
calm
You're
tone of
Bitcoin
voice
Tina with a
with a
little
nice
bit more
sounding
technical chops.
inflection
But
makes it not
you are
so.
like that like
I
okay.
don't care, Greg.
So
I'll keep going. Like,
so
we can
I
do
know
this.
like you're basically there's no signal in the room anymore.
That was pretty good, guys.
Okay, can you
Bravo.
shut the fuck up now and let Neil
You
ask his
went
question?
No.
you went from like 170 listeners, Wicked, to like 130. You know, in the
That's all
beginning
good.
when I first started joining these spaces and Shinobi was on, I'm like, oh fuck, Shinobi's on. Because you know, the thing
So
is that
I'm gonna
Shinobi, you're so
do what I
smart.
started to do now.
Bro,
What
the thing is
happened
that you're
earlier,
so
Greg,
smart.
is you claimed that a individual person attained a role due to
You
nepotism.
interrupt
And
everybody. It's a
after I
tactic.
broke
No,
It's just a
down her
tactic.
yeah.
Hey,
accomplishments,
Don't
her
let anybody. I
competence,
don't think it's a
Greg,
you
tactic. Wicked
Greg.
conceded
never.
the
I know that
Wicked.
you're
fact
You
feeling
think
that
that
defensive
she
he's
right
was
not
now,
letting
but
not
anybody? He just jams
hold it
incompetent.
in,
everybody.
buddy.
You
Greg,
He
suck it up.
jams.
Suck it up, Greg.
conceded the fact
Okay.
that
I'll
she is a
respect Wicked
competent
because he has some
developer who
credibility with
did
me.
major work. You conceded and acknowledged that. And then after that concession and acknowledgement, you circled back around to repeat the claim that she only got that position due to nepotism. After
We're having a
literally
very thoughtful
moments
conversation at a
earlier
philosophical level
acknowledging
with
her
me and
competence,
Kalle.
her
And then
contributions,
Shinobi
and her
shows
merit.
up and it just devolves into
That is
nothing.
a
Well, the
disingenuous
only thing I was gonna
rhetorical
say, you
trick,
know, is that
Greg.
like, if
That
we were
is a
boys,
rhetorical trick. That is just fucking playing a shell game and just repeating nonsense, broken fragments of a logical argument in the insane context of just admitting their foundational fucking pieces are invalid. That is what Neil just did, just like you did earlier. I do not give a fuck about this weird internet micro celebrity popularity contest.
I
Go fuck
don't either, my
yourself.
friend. I
I
do
have
not either.
zero patience at this point for that
But this
kind
is
of
an anarchic
intellectually
system, and I think
dishonest
like it
and
is to the extent
manipulative
that we understand that
rhetorical
it is
games.
anarchic.
I am done with this mirror argument
Okay, well
bullshit
then
where
leave.
clowns like you
Just
accuse
leave.
everyone around you of what you yourself are doing preemptively. Go
I'm
fuck
trying to learn,
yourself.
dude. I don't know
I'm
what you're
done
trying
with
to
it.
do.
You are a disingenuous, intellectually dishonest clown.
Well, okay, but I'm
This
still
is why
trying to
we run
learn.
BIP 110, by the way.
holy
No, you're not,
smokes.
Greg, because somebody actually trying to learn would, in an
Look, I don't even
intellectually
feel
Wicked,
honest
I
like.
think you gotta
fashion,
mute.
stop
I think you have to
repeating
mute
the
Shinobi, bro.
inaccurate things he
Just for
Yeah,
five
how
conceded
do I?
were
seconds, bro.
As the
Just
inaccurate.
co-host, hey,
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
okay,
do you
all
know
right, all right.
Wicked?
Let's reset now. I
Okay,
think we got
so we can like go back to
hopefully most of it out of our
yeah.
system. I'm sure there'll be a few
It's like one
more
of those things, you know,
outbreaks.
Wicked, like, you know, if we're all
But
boys and Shinobi's
hey,
with us and, you know, there's a group of girls that we're trying to hit on, it's like, bro, look, just stay in the
uh,
background. Don't talk. Yo, just, bro, don't talk. Just, you know, stay in the background. Let me
it's
go in
it's funny to
there.
think
Let
about.
me answer, you know, a few basic questions. Bro, don't open your fucking mouth, bro, because we're not going to get laid tonight, bro. Just chill out. Just listen, you know, listen to the
I will.
pain. Let her vent a little bit. Because, bro, when you open your mouth, bro, you're just on, and you might have fucking saliva come out of your mouth, and it's over, bro. So just, take it easy, smoke a J, lift some weights, fucking
No,
eat a
I don't.
medium
Smoking a
rare
J might make it
steak,
worse for him, to be
medium
honest.
rare.
That really gets
Bro,
him
life
going
is
usually.
good, bro. You got 100,000 Bitcoin, bro. Come on, bro. Chill, bro. Take it easy, bro.
I was really
All right.
Yeah, but it doesn't work like
hey,
that. I'm
Wicked, you
sorry.
do
Some
have
people are being bamboozled and grifted by those
Yeah.
people who are repeating the same shit over and over again. And then they come to spaces or discussions online and they just repeat the same thing and they're just
we were having a really
basically
great with
spreading FUD.
Calle and Wicked and
Because this is
Neil.
exactly what it is. People like Gregory and people like Neil earlier, they're just spreading
We're
FUD.
not. We
They
were
just
actually
repeat the
trying to
same
like.
shit. And if you are telling them that they're wrong, they say, "Yeah, I agree. Except let's agree to disagree," which
No,
is completely bullshit. So unfortunately, someone like Shinobi has to shout. Unfortunately, someone like Wicked doesn't believe in how do you call that, muting people.
Moderating.
But in reality, moderating, which is totally fine. I mean, it's your space. You do whatever you want, and I'm okay with it. But you cannot be upset at someone telling you something, actually proving you wrong, then you admit it, and then you just repeat exactly the same
We've
shit.
got. Well, if we're
Because
talking, then presumably you have some
this
thoughts.
specific
Or
But Wicked,
behavior
can
you
you
is
know,
an
go to
attack
like
on
Neil? I
Bitcoin.
want to hear what's on his
what
mind.
what I'm not a huge fan of. Everybody on stage, and some of you may know who I'm talking to. I'm not a huge fan of loosely held beliefs. So, like when you state an opinion about something, but then when pressed and questioned, and people are trying to understand why you hold those beliefs, you can't answer it. Then it kind of shows that you don't really have, a true belief in what you're saying. And, on top of that, when you start getting defensive about it, then it just kind of goes to show that you're
Do you
LARPing.
think
And I
Neil
don't
was
like that
getting
at all.
defensive? Or maybe I was. Do you think Neil was?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you can interpret it however you want, but like sometimes people will say something and I'll say, why do you believe that? Why do you believe what you're saying right now? And then they won't be able to answer it. And so to me, it's like, well, either you heard that from someone else, you didn't actually do any research yourself, you didn't verify the claim, or you're just, parroting some
Well, I
propaganda,
think this
whether
is
it's
going
on
to
one
be
side or the other.
lifelong
And
learning,
it's
right?
like,
Between the
it's
code and
not
the econ, like there's going to be like continuous learning. And Neil's got his hand up, so can we just see what's
right. So when you're in the light of learning, right? When you're trying to learn something and you hear something that resonates with you, and it's it sounds good, and so you're like, yeah, I don't like that that's happening. You should probably look more into it and understand what it is that you're actually repeating, or what are some of the fundamental things that are leading into that thought. So when you say, for example, Greg, um, I don't like how core is centralizing in its decisions. You should probably go look at the governance of core and actually investigate what it is that why it is you believe that, and then what it is
What
that's
did you
leading you
say?
to believe that.
Core? What's that?
Yeah, I got that.
Huh?
No,
What?
that's a good point. But I do like I
What's
was
core?
really enjoying Neil's line of questioning, and to the extent he's still got more to say.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we can get back to that line of questioning. I think that's fine. I think we've done a proper reset, Shinobi, and you're welcome to stick around as always. And I think like I like when it's back and forth. At the same time, if we start getting back to this like unhinged, loosely
Yeah,
held
no,
beliefs,
that was
then
all theater.
what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
Neil, what's up?
so I just wanted to explain why I said I accept, Shinobi's thing. Like, I can accept that it doesn't stop spam because I think that the domain I'm focused on is bigger than just that. Like, I can say yes, but there's more. Like, if
So
it was just that, then yes, I wouldn't have a position to stand on. Like I would grant that. If it was only just spam, then sure. But like I see the perimeter is bigger than just that.
and and we've talked through this, right? Like in your mind, it's protecting against one type of poison block attack, and then you've stated like potentially some unknown attack surfaces. But haven't we already discussed how like the unknowns isn't really a real argument?
How about this, Wicked? How about that they don't like Bitcoin Core's governance and they're trying to fire Bitcoin Core, and BIP 110 helps do that?
I mean, potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It depends, because if the pools end up just running a patch on top of their core nodes, then core still largely influences a lot of the direction of Bitcoin. And I'm guessing most economic actors, even if they were dragged along into a BIP 110 enforcement, would still be running core largely, because core's, multiple versions ahead of Knots and has actual policy implementations that Knots doesn't, that are useful to actual economic actors in the space. So, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think, even if BIP 110 was successful in activating, I still don't think that that resolves your issue with Core's governance
it doesn't.
or their influence in the ecosystem.
It doesn't. What's happening is that there's a group of people that don't like how another entity governs themselves. That's what's the crazy part right now. Like, it's not, you are freely, the best thing about Bitcoin is that you are freely available to just ignore any implementation you want. No one's forcing you to run Bitcoin Core. No one's got a gun to your head.
Wicked. I just want to add. So this is my. I'm taking this principle of defensibility, right? And I'm trying to. I'm struggling. I'm trying to apply it to Bitcoin, and that idea of I want it to be as tight as possible that allows me to do the things that I want to do. That's like there's value in like I have to have a reason to open that up at all, and so to me, this when you say, "Oh, the unknown thing is not an argument," that does not actually address the principle. Like there's value in having your defenses as tight as possible that don't inhibit your like your ability to function. Like there is value in that. So it's even if you don't know what the particular attack is, like that's still a valid argument and a valid
I
principle
don't
that you're
think. Can you
trying.
give an example? Like, I don't know. Maybe if you are a military guy, because it seems like that's part of your analogy. Can you give an example where
Yeah, I am a
we've
military.
hardened a defense system against an attack surface that was unknown? Like we did something for no reason other than just, oh, maybe there's some unknown way in which we could be attacked, and this might stop it. I mean, because I think, as far as I know, any defense measure that's taken is usually for a specific reason. Is that not correct?
I mean, but then you're getting into like the idea of like it prevented attacks that never materialized. Like,
No, I'm not saying that at all. I agree. Like, if you are preventing, the point I'm making is the attack may never materialize, but you know what the attack is or could be when you are building the defense, right? You may, like, you're building an anti-nuke defense because you're afraid of nukes, right? You're building, an anti whatever, fucking torpedo defense because you're afraid of torpedoes, but you know what it is you're defending against, right? It's not like we're building an anti-UFO defense.
well, that's
Because we don't know what
reactive.
UFOs are. Like, we don't know how they could attack us. We don't know even how to build a defense against that. So it's not like you can even build a defense against that. You have to actually know what you're building a defense against. And I don't think, as far as I know, there's been no claim from anybody technical on the 110 side that 110 is defending against UFOs,
I'm
right?
just
Like, and I'm saying that facetiously, like, UFOs being the boogeyman that we don't know about, and this attack surface that is undefined. I mean, there's nothing, you can't even say that, right? Doesn't make sense.
I mean, you could. So there's reactive, defensive measures, and there's proactive. Like,
Right.
let's just imagine.
Preemptive.
Let's
Sure.
imagine Satoshi, right? When
Uh-huh.
he's Bitcoin's not a thing. He's scheming this thing up. Like he
Hmm.
has no idea all the potential attacks and this. Like, but he's saying, what is it? What do I want this thing to be able to do? What do
Hmm.
I need Bitcoin to do? And what parameters, what protocol parameters am I going to put in place that I think is going to best make the like he wasn't reacting to, oh, they're attacking Bitcoin this way, or oh, they're
Right.
attacking networks this way. He's trying to opt, and like we can do that to every block. We do that. Like we're not just a reactive thing. Like only if they attack
I
this.
agree. We can preemptively defend Bitcoin, but what I'm saying is, what is it that we're defending against? Because every decision we have to make, especially when it's a consensus decision that has an extremely high bar clear, right? You have to build tons of ecosystem buy-in and support for any consensus change. At least that's my belief, and hopefully it will be, you know, true in a few weeks when things play out. But if that is the case, you need a high threshold of support. You're going to need actual explanations of what it is and why you're making these changes, right? What it is you're defending against and why you're making these changes. Whether those defenses are preemptive or reactive doesn't really matter, right? I mean, there's a whole BIP 54, that is entirely proactive in defense measures, right? No one's done a poison block attack. No one's done, you know, the time warp bug attack or whatever, right? No one's done all these things, but there's an entire BIP dedicated to try to shore up those holes. BIP 54, work that had been done in it, right? It's already being like communicated to pools to get them ready to activate if there was enough support around it. So these things are already happening, okay? And it's well scoped and well defined, the actual things it defends against. But you're comparing, like in comparison, now you have BIP 110. And to me, it seems like it doesn't have nearly as well of scoped attacks that it's defending against. Like you know, you're mentioning spam as an attack surface that it, you know, supposedly tries to defend against, but then again, we've proven it doesn't. So every type of spam that it tries to prevent has already circumvented those rules. So that's off the table. You might say specific types of spam like contiguous data, but we've proven it doesn't prevent that. So that's off the table. And then all you're left with, as far as I can tell, looking through the BIP and then listening to people like Hunter and you talk, is one single poison block attack, right? So if that's all you're having to offer with this BIP that does 8 different changes, what's the point of doing all 8 changes? If that's the only thing it prevents. I just don't understand. And on top of that, you have a BIP that actually prevents that and additional things that are well scoped and well defined. It shores up more holes in Bitcoin. And you're not pushing for that. Why wouldn't you be pushing for BIP 54 if that's your, you know, if your real motive here is to try to shore up these attack surfaces? Because to me, it seems like that's the obvious BIP to be pushing for.
I mean, right now, like to get these changes, you know, implemented, you know, you have to play the social thing, and you have, like, I don't know, people aren't rallying and talking about BIP 54. So
Why
if
is
that's a
that though?
better thing to be talking about, then I would be
But
talking about it.
that is up to people like you to begin to do, right?
That's
Like
also incorrect. Major industry players and miners and businesses are absolutely talking about that. We've already had some miners start doing the unlock time to be compliant with the new way of handling Coinbase.
It came up to say that 30% of miners, including Foundry, are now modifying their in-sequence values of their Coinbase transactions and the unlock times to be BIP 54 compatible. Basically, once you get that rate probably towards 80 or 90%, because I don't think they're going to do anything contentious with BIP 54, you'll probably see the move to make that consensus through implementation after that. But yeah, pools are ready, and that's kind of the hardest part of coordinating that. So
I'll tell you one
BIP
thing.
54 literally has more miner support right now, actively showing, than BIP 110 does.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. If they start doing these poisons attack, that is the way we get BIP 54 through. So I highly hope they actually do something like that, because that is how BIP 54 gets quickly adopted.
Well, you don't want one of those blocks stuck in the chain, though, right? So, like, you don't want to have like a 10-minute validation time.
But you'll be able to see them attempting to do it, right? And hopefully will reject.
I mean, it's not ideal, but if it happens, it's not the end of the world.
Assume valid anyways, right? After a certain amount of time, we can just,
Going back to Wicked's question that was kind of rhetorical, but nobody answered it. I would like to push on that. What is the difference between BIP 110 and BIP 54 that some people, like you, Neil, have on their profile that you want to push it? What makes it that you think that there is less discussion and less sorry, um, uh, um, following for BIP 54 that actually pushes you and motivates you to push for something else. What's the difference between those two BIPs? And once we understand the difference between those two BIPs, and the answer is very easy, one is super centralized and the other isn't, then we will understand what the attack really is. Because at the moment, if you want to solve problems, you just solve problems. If you want to solve problems, but you also want to push mechanics narrative that everybody is a pedophile, and Luke's narrative that core is corrupted, then you're pushing BIP 110. So it's really not about what the BIP is solving. It's really about who benefits from it.
Really quick, like I want to touch on like because Wicked, you focused almost entirely on the attack blocks. That's not the worst thing that BIP 54 fixes. The time warp attack is absolutely the worst thing, and that is an absolute must fix. Like everybody's conception
because
right
they
now,
could mine all the blocks,
everybody's
right?
conception of a 51% attack right now is that all it can do is censor transactions as long as they can keep it up. That's not true. A majority of miners can actually kill Bitcoin right now. It would take them less than like 2 months to jack down the difficulty, taking advantage of that bug to just kill Bitcoin, bring it down to nothing. And there's no walking that back without some kind of centralized, we pick this block or other fucking ridiculous shit like that would just kill everything. That's it. Like that's game over. If a majority of hash rate were to be coerced or co-opted by a government right now, they could literally kill Bitcoin if that bug isn't patched in like 2 months. The difficulty goes down to practically 0. It is totally insecure. End of story. Done.
Well, and then they speed run the rest of the issuance, right? Is that another aspect of it?
Yeah, you pretty much manipulate a bug in which blocks are checked in the period for new difficulties and fucking with the timestamps at the end. You can max crank down the difficulty and then that speeds up block production.
Yeah, Bitcoin has said a whole lot of stuff that's absolutely 1000% correct. That's already happened before because they have a sandbox where they can practice all this stuff, which is where all these issues are really coming from. Yeah, it's called Counterparty, where they reorganize blocks, and also where the spam actually came from. Most people talking about this don't know anything about the history of Bitcoin. Most people never even heard of Counterparty. So I'm only interested in listening to Bitcoin.
What's
because
can you explain to me what Counterparty is?
that's the original coin protocol that came before Ethereum. All coins come from the coin.
Houston, I'm fucking with you, man. I know what Counterparty is.
Okay, good. But the thing is,
Did you like Omni, or was Counterparty your meta protocol of choice?
I didn't find out about Omni till later. Omni is where Tether came from.
Yeah. Are we talking about shitcoins now? What the fuck's happening?
Oh yeah. This is all Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is all on Bitcoin. This is the OG shitcoins on Bitcoin.
There's been shitcoining on Bitcoin, guys, before you guys. Many of you even heard of Bitcoin. There's been shitcoin.
So like, did these guys not listen to literally anything Shinobi said? Like just went in one ear out the other.
Well,
yeah, no, I wasn't.
I think for most people, yeah, that's what happens.
I just want to address Evie's that at BIP 54. It's like, why not BIP 54? Why BIP 110? And it's like, for the past year, I've heard nothing but all this core, like the version 30 stuff, and then BIP 110 started, and it's just that got me looking at that and thinking it through, and I'm comparing these two protocol sets, and to me, I value a tighter restrictive set because I think that's the more defensible chain, and I don't have anything else. Like, what thing is it breaking on the other side? What would make the regular chain more valuable? I don't have that. So
Neil, I think one thing you should maybe do is take the time and look into BIP 54, and if BIP 110 does fail to activate, maybe you could be a steward of BIP54 as your pivot, and probably regain some social credit there. It might not be a bad thing. I mean, I think a pivot to BIP54 would probably be a pretty good thing for most Bitcoin tenors.
I don't care about the social
credit. Can I ask you a question, Neil?
I want the most defensible chain. So I'm just
and
doing the best
I'm telling you, BIP54 definitely shores up way more attack surface than BIP110.
So when you say defensible, hold on. When you say defensible, in what context do you mean? Do you mean like in terms of technical exploits, or in terms of like I can tell my family, hey, buy this thing because there's no CP on it? Like, what do you mean by defensible?
When I say defensible, I'm just meaning, is the are the network parameters as tight as possible without inhibiting my operation? Like, that's the singular defensive principle I'm trying to apply. I applied that.
The other nice thing.
I apply that here.
The other nice thing about, and I know you don't care as much about like, the limitations that BIP110 puts on, tap script, but one of the nice things about BIP54 is it doesn't do those things either. So it not only does it shore up more attack surface, but it does it in a way that isn't affecting, other people's monetary uses of Bitcoin. Albeit, there may not be very many people who are fucking around with that shit. But regardless, I mean, it is monetary use. And so if you can actually shore up these attack surfaces without fucking with anybody's monetary use, that's obviously better than the other way around. And I think, I'm hoping that with, a failure of BIP110, hopefully people can begin to focus on things that actually matter and that can be prevented or improved on Bitcoin. I think, I'm hoping there's a huge pivot away from this focus on fighting spam. I think it's a huge waste of time, right? And even BIP110 supporters, if they're honest with themselves, will admit BIP110 doesn't stop spam, right? I mean, that's like a huge,
says it all the time.
That's a huge mantra already, like, right?
Dude, if
You've
this shit
conceded that.
doesn't fucking stop when this chain stall happens, I am going to put fucking Frogger on chain. Okay, like fuck this stupid shit.
BIP111's already taken. I think
nonsense is over.
220
A bunch of retarded fucking degenerates are going to be playing Frogger on the Bitcoin blockchain all the time.
Listen, man,
it's impossible.
It's already been done.
Can you put Dig Dog? Shinobi, can you put Dig Dog instead? I love Dig Dog. I'll play Dig Dog.
It's not impossible. It already happened. Somebody already put a game on Bitcoin.
Oh, there's a bunch of horrible bullshit that.
Not this game though. Not this game. This is a special game. This game was co-designed by Luke Deschier at the Nashville Mining Summit in 2024.
Neil, can I just follow up on my question about the technical defensible aspect? So these guys are shilling BIP54, which I agree with them, does fix actual things that are real attack vectors. And they gave us two examples. They said poison block attacks and the time warp bug, which are real bugs. And the time warp bug, I agree with Shinobi, is probably like life-threatening to Bitcoin. If this thing was exploited, it's game over.
BIP110 doesn't stop that, right? BIP110 doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, hold on. So when they're saying that BIP54 is what you should be advocating for, if that's what you're concerned about, like they just gave you a clear example of why. So if you think that BIP10 or 110, whatever, is the better choice to make Bitcoin more defensible from a technical angle, what technical problems does it solve? Like what attacks get closed as a result of this activating? For BIP54's case, we already know like two concrete ones: poison block attacks and the time warp. It's fixed. Like it's literally fixed by that BIP activating.
Second order effects, right? So if BIP110 does not activate, a lot of sovereign node runners will stop running nodes and Bitcoin will die.
Why?
Because
hold on. Why?
It's clearly obvious that they're overrepresented. I mean, Start9 sold out long time ago. They have already said that most of their customers are running NOTs and BIP110. I mean, they cannot know for sure, right? But I'm pretty sure they've said that.
Why would they stop?
Okay. Yeah, why would they stop? That doesn't answer the question. What would happen that would cause them to just say, you know what, I don't want to run this thing anymore?
Living in some form of bubble because Saylor is supporting the other side. Craig Wright is supporting the other side. All the
you realize Craig Wright sued Bitcoin Core developers, all of them, right? Like
guys, just stop. Okay, so why would I care about what these guys support? Like I want to know why would why would I wake up tomorrow in a world where BIP 110 failed and say, I don't want to run this anymore? Like, what is the logical reason? Not because, oh, Michael Saylor posted something and I don't like this guy, or Craig Wright posted something and I don't like him. Like, what is the take? Is my computer going to
Yeah, let's
explode?
stay
Am I
focused
going
on
to
that
start
question.
distributing? Am I going to start distributing CP? Like, what is the reason why I would wake up tomorrow and say, I don't want to run this thing anymore?
Yeah, you go figure that out.
I'm asking
I feel like I'm
legitimately,
having
man.
deja vu. Did we already have this conversation
I'm
before between
upset.
Brian and you?
I'm trying.
Brian and
I don't.
Dave? Pretty sure we did. Maybe I dreamed about it.
No,
That's crazy,
I'm trying
bro.
to legitimately understand, because I mean, if
Almost
you're gonna make a
Like, I
point,
remember
you
Dave
have to defend
saying,
it.
you know, you should go figure it out. Like, literally, that was deja vu right
Yeah.
there, bro. That's crazy.
A few days ago, there was a space where like Hunter was hinting at some sort of veiled threat or some sort of like
The wonder weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
wonder
wonder
weapon.
weapon.
So, I mean, what are they sitting on,
Is
right?
it too late
It's
for
going to go nuclear.
flapjacks?
Just to answer Calle's question, though, like, so again, I'm just a philosopher. I come at things
It was me. It was
from
Brian, not Kalle.
principles, and you're the technical, gurus, and you are coming at it from your particular angles. And it's like we're coming at it from different places, and I'm trying to bridge and come together. It's just like when I'm
Neil,
asking for a principle, you're not providing, and when you ask me for the particular, I can't provide it. Like, but these things
There is
touch.
no bridges. You must
Neil,
walk.
stop for a second and
always.
imagine
Well,
you are having this
there's not a
bridges
collective.
here, buddy.
Guys,
You and I haven't had a conversation. There's not a collective.
Stop for a second, Neil, and imagine that you are making that argument, but we are literally talking about a suspension bridge. Like, you are literally arguing with the civil engineer who built it about the design and load-bearing capacity of a suspension bridge. And you are arguing, well, I know like physics and blah, 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 but like, do you see how insane that sounds when you just move from software engineering to civil engineering?
This is action. We're in the domain of human action. Bitcoin is not divorced from telos. Bitcoin is not divorced of purpose. That's why they touch, right? If Bitcoin was this
a bridge is not divorced from purpose either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It has to touch, right? Everything that's technically sound is also supported by principles. So you can get to the same thing from either direction. I'm not the technical expert
Neil,
programmer.
when you call yourself
principles.
Okay, so you don't want to argue about it from a technical basis. So what is your concern from a philosophical human perspective? Like, can you just me and you, like, that's it. I don't care about, like, I don't give a shit about the prevailing narrative or what other guys are saying. What do you concretely believe is the problem with this thing not activating?
Everyone would shut up and let Neil and Calle go back and forth.
Yeah, so like I've tried to say a couple times, is just the principle I am applying to this situation. Like, how am I going to walk through life? The principle is I want to minimize and constrict all protocol rules to the maximum ability that doesn't inhibit function. So it's like that I use it for. And what am I using Bitcoin for? To fight fiat and central banking. So if people can articulate, hey, this BIP 110, it restricts this stuff, but it hurts your interests of fighting fiat and central banking in X, Y, or Z, well, then I have something to weigh against this. I'm maximizing the principle that I'm like defensibility. I just want it maximally defensible.
So why does BIP 110 not being active? How does it empower central banking and fiat currencies by BIP 110 not existing? Like, in the current state that we're in right now in the network, how does fiat banking and central banking and fiat currencies get empowered by this thing not existing?
Well, if they have a more permissible set of protocol boundaries, that's just there's just more information. There's more data. There's more stuff.
Neil, we already established in our previous conversation that BIP 110 does not achieve its technical goals, right? You agreed with this like 5 times. Now, you want to... Sorry?
I agree with...
I don't want to put words in your mouth, so that's what I remember.
Like, stop as incomplete, absolute. It doesn't prevent spam. I agree with that premise. And
Okay, great. So
BIP1.
so you want to maximize like what you perceive as kind of like the goals of Bitcoin and so on. I respect that. I agree that. Like in principle, I agree. I want to do the same. So here's one big problem. Assume BIP 110 doesn't have material effect on spam prevention, right? So it still requires a fork. A fork requires coordination. Currently, we're seeing how that turns out. Like people rallied up, they need to believe in a narrative, and so on and so forth. Do you see that every single fork that we make on this chain is a potential danger for Bitcoin? Compare Bitcoin to, for example, Monero or Ethereum, where, for example, Monero, they were doing a fork every year up until, I don't know, some time ago to prevent ASIC development. So
every 6 months. It was every 6 months.
Every 6
then
months.
It became a year.
So just like the principle itself, even let's assume that the fork has no positive effect and has no negative effect. It just like kind of is a fork where we flip a bit, for example. It requires us to come together and decide something together. And that is one of the biggest threats to Bitcoin, basically, is bringing people together under a false premise and making changes. That means like if we get used to changing things that do not affect anything, we will get used to changing Bitcoin. And we don't want to get used to changing Bitcoin. We want Bitcoin to be stable and be running for a long time. That means like you see that every single, like Bitcoin's, one of the strengths of Bitcoins is that it's hard to change. So we should only make changes that are really worthwhile. That's why people want to batch bits, right? Batch changes. We wait several years until we have a couple of candidates that we can all activate together because we cannot afford to come together and change it over and over again. Now, when you have a filter that doesn't work and someone can circumvent, like with just like 5 seconds of Claude code, basically, can circumvent, that means if you start that game, which we call the cat and mouse game, it means that you need to react next year again. Maybe you need to react in 6 months after spammers have figured out a new way to circumvent your spam. So you have to, once you start this method that doesn't achieve its goals, once you start chasing it, you need to synchronize the entire community to come together and fork and fork and fork and fork. That's what you end up doing. Like there is no other way. This is like, and
You actually
sharing,
you open a bigger attack surface by doing that, Neil.
By making people conform to this idea that we can change Bitcoin every single time something pops up, every single time we change our opinions about what the ethos is, every single time we, react to the fees on Bitcoin or react to second layers of Bitcoin, every single time, then we get into this whole modus operandi of coming together and making changes. And that is a centralization vector. That's what people say is like when they say that it requires centralization to actually play this game. If you want to play the ad blocker game, if you want to play the filter game, then you need to elect a king. You need to elect a quorum. You need to elect a cabinet that can come together, make these decisions on a regular basis. So the argument is very simple. Don't do it. Just don't even start playing that game. It doesn't help you. It doesn't, in this case, it kind of maybe even doesn't harm Bitcoin at the same time, like assuming that BIP 110 is technically sound, which is not, it is not, but assuming, giving it like the steelman.
But Calle, wouldn't you want to see another chain try this so we could point at it and see like how it's a bad idea?
Well, I mean, it's a soft fork, so it's probably either going to live or die.
No. But once it doesn't get enough support, then they want to maintain that minority fork. Wouldn't that be ideal?
We'll see if that happens. I mean, who knows if that'll happen.
I mean,
that's if they want to. That's if they maintain it.
I will say, Calle, like, I agree with everything you're saying there. And, I'm not of the opinion, like, don't try it. I mean, if you really want to try that and you think it's a good idea to start that game,
fuck around, find
go
out
ahead
type
and
of thing.
yeah, go ahead and try it. But I think what you'll learn is that Bitcoin's immune response will be to throw out that idea, and you're going to fork off. And
yes,
and in doing so, you'll actually prove what we're telling you, which is that Bitcoin is incredibly hard to change, which is a good thing. So actually, I mean, in BIP 110's failure, we're going to actually have a pretty bullish outcome, which is that people will realize Bitcoin is hard to change. That's a good thing.
Yes, I agree. And this is why I say that BIP 110, just like said this today, is BIP 110 is a simulated attack against Bitcoin because it's a tiger without claws. It cannot damage Bitcoin. It cannot help Bitcoin, but it simulates what it looks like when a minority that doesn't respect technical arguments or any merits tries to invade Bitcoin and change it. Like this is you could call this a simulation. And we are going to win the simulation, obviously. It will show everyone that you cannot change Bitcoin without getting consensus, getting into the room, talking to people, being actually cooperative. Like you need to be a good person. You need to come together, sit with people. You need to be patient. You need to address every.
Maybe with hard forks, hard forks, I agree with that, but not soft forks. You don't need
with soft forks, you do too, Mr. Huddle.
No, you need to with soft forks too. Yes, 100%.
No, I'm not saying
if you don't have enforcement, just split off.
Stop. No, you just need everyone's incentives to align. And that's the fundamental thing that is missing here.
Yes.
Nobody else cares about this. No serious user cares about this. No business cares about this. Miners are literally making money off of this. Like every single thing that you guys have been told about this, like the data, like the actual arbitrary data making nodes harder to bootstrap is a lie. It's a complete lie. Like it is actually faster for your node to validate a block full of JPEGs because there is less hashing to do, less signatures to verify, less CPU work. What has caused the node bootstrapping cost to increase is everybody breaking up all of the ordinals and the stupid number theory bullshit into separate UTXOs because they want to be able to manage and send their fucking NFTs individually. That's it.
So,
like,
Shinobi,
stopping the data does nothing to stop people from doing that. Forcing people to put the data in a different way doesn't stop people from breaking those UTXOs up. Like just more people adopting Bitcoin as money will make the UTXO set grow. Like that's how it works.
Shinobi, that's the reason. That's the reason why there's this fundamental disagreement because that they believe that if you make it harder to put the data in, the data will just go away. That they're not going to try to put it in other fields. We know that that's not the case. We know that if somebody wants to put data on Bitcoin, they will do it. But that's why when you make that argument of it's actually better for the data to be JPEGs, there's not going to be an agreement from them because they believe that if you make it impossible to put JPEGs, ordinals, whatever on chain in their current form, they're just going to go away, and so you'll have empty blocks or something.
Yeah, well, if you wanted to get rid of that, you would go back to segment. So that's a BS argument too. But the thing about it is they've been knowing how to do this 7 different ways since 2015. And to the person who made that comment about a game, they did augmented reality on Bitcoin, and even the gaming industry to this point.
Dude, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yes, they did. It's called Saratobi.
I'm not saying I don't believe what you're talking about. I just mean you're completely derailing the conversation into something that's completely irrelevant.
You just don't comprehend what I'm saying.
It's the wrong crowd. It's the BIP. What you're saying, I think the Bitcoin Today crowd will get value out of that. I don't think this crowd will, because we all know, people that are on stage here all know Bitcoin's history. We know the meta protocols around Bitcoin. We know all this.
We also know that it's bullshit.
So Neil, I guess just to you, just yes or no, is my statement correct that you believe that if we make it harder to put the spam, the JPEGs, all that stuff on chain, that people will just stop trying to do it? Just yes, you do, or no, you don't believe that?
No, I don't think people are always going to try to do people are going to do what they want to do. They just have to, and they'll work around obstacles. They'll work around whatever. Like again, that statement that Calle said, where the tiger has no claws, it can't hurt Bitcoin and it can't help Bitcoin. And I guess from my vantage point, I think it can't hurt Bitcoin and it possibly could help. Like those are the two. Like that's
not enough.
That's the asymmetry.
How could it help?
Well, we've already discussed that, and we don't need to rehash that. But I agree with Calle. It's not enough, right? If it can't hurt and it can possibly help, that's not enough to make a consensus change. So because
making a change itself is risky. making a change
Every
itself
line
risky.
of code is an attack surface. Every
Not
untested
risky if it's a conservative
line of
fork.
code
That's what you
is
guys
an
have.
attack surface.
If you're thinking of the past soft forks or forks, this is different. It's a conservative fork.
It's a conservative fork built on a not so
55%
conservative client.
What exactly makes it what makes it conservative? That you labeled it conservative? It literally causes a chain split if it fails to activate. How is that conservative?
It's conservative because it is.
Because it is what?
That's not how words work. Conservative has a meaning.
What do you mean?
As in,
Well,
like,
I think he
minimize.
might have cut out.
As in minimal
Did he end the
change.
sentence at
As
is?
in,
he muted his
as
mic
in
right after
the
that.
scope.
Yes, he ended
As in
it
having
is.
the least interference possible. That is the exact opposite of what Bitcoin
I have a crazy
Maybe
proposition.
in
Not
Sailor
changing
Moon,
Bitcoin is conservative. I
I'll
have a
tell you
crazy
what. I'll tell you
proposition.
what wasn't
Yeah,
conservative.
Not
I can't
changing
believe
Bitcoin
it.
is conservative.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
it is.
BIP 148 was not conservative at all. It was reckless, very reckless. But we could admit that we were ready to be reckless because we thought the legacy chain, was effectively dead. So, like, yeah, BIP 148 was 100% reckless, but we were left no choice. You're saying
We
that
actually were being hijacked or attempted to be hijacked by Bitmain. And he was literally blackmailing and coercing all the other miners. He told all the other Chinese miners, like, the reason we didn't get above 20-30% signaling for months was because Jihan told every miner in China, if you signal to activate SegWit, I will stop selling you hardware.
Yeah. So, like, there was a point where we thought we needed to do something reckless in order to save Bitcoin. And that was BIP 148. You're saying this UASF isn't reckless somehow. How is it not reckless? There's a real
because
threat.
it is, dude.
There's a real
it's conservative
threat.
because it is.
There's a real threat. Like, the chances of a chain split is extremely high. That's reckless.
But we want the chain split.
I want the chain split. Yeah, that's not reckless. That's the other thing I don't agree with the anti-us camp. Like, why do we give a shit about the chain split? It's benefit. Who gives a fuck? This is how Bitcoin works.
The chain split is fine. It's the 55. It's the method to activate the chain split through a 55% threshold. That's the attack.
We want the chain split at 1% threshold.
Yeah. At 1%, I don't care. 55% is a problem.
Beautiful. Let's get this done.
No,
amazing. All right, yeah. So
we will. We
let's
just have
go
to.
And have a
We just have
fucking
to get.
watch
We
party.
have to get through 3
watch
more
mental
weeks of
space,
daily
take
spaces,
some
rehashing
shots,
these things over and over again first.
Yeah, that's it, man. You're not gonna change these guys' mind anymore. I mean, calling it conservative, man, it just proves that, like, this has become politicized at this point. This is the reason they say it's conservative, is because they see themselves as Republicans, Trump voters, whatever. And they see Bitcoin Core as, like, Democrat liberals because Matt Corallo had blue hair and Gloria Zhao was a DEI hire or whatever. Like, it's just fucking
fiat,
politics.
Bro. It's complete fiat. It's
complete politics.
I see a lot of generals and ex-lieutenants that are pro BIP 110.
Which, by the way, Dave, I'm a hardcore fucking conservative Republican. Like, these guys will literally vouch for me, and I'm anti 1-0, so it's not, or 110, whatever. So it's not like that black and white, man. It's not just like, oh, if you're a fucking liberal Democrat faggot, you support this shit, and if you're not, you don't.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I mean, that's fine.
I'm just letting you know, man, that it exists.
Dave doesn't answer questions.
Dave, nice AI slop treasury website you have there in your bio.
Thank you. I don't have the time to fix it yet, but we have a new design coming up, so that's actually a fair point. I'll take that.
But it's just materially a fact, man, that it's not conservative to introduce something that could potentially, like, cause us chain split or changes or stuff.
It's not going to be a change
split
because miners will flip the bit, and it's not going to be an issue. I mean, they're going to go with the.
But you at least acknowledge that there is a possibility that it could happen, right?
900. And I'm not calling anybody an idiot now, but if you theoretically have 900 idiots in a room and you have 100 smart people that are based and cannot be controlled by like external interests or other incentives, that we are not going to reach hyper-Bitcoinization, or they don't have the patience, the miner companies will go with the most sensible people in the room, and that is the BIP 110ers.
If Bitcoin depends on the intelligence of
I ain't going with you.
Failed. Bitcoin will fail if it depends on the intelligence of humans.
Miners will go with the most rational people in the room, the BIP 110ers that are getting less than 1% of miner signaling support. As was pointed out earlier,
I have a question.
BIP54
I have a
has
question for Dave.
30% of the network hash rate, like signaling and compliant with it. You guys have less than one. Like,
do you know what
what
a mining pool is?
universe do you live in?
Have
Dave.
you heard about mining pools?
Calle, you just said that Bitcoin will fail if it relies on humans. I was wondering, what role you saw AI in the future of Bitcoin.
I don't know what that means, but what I mean by what I said is, what I said before. Satoshi has put a system that is hard to change. Has put up a system that is hard to change, hard to turn off, hard to manipulate. That's the reason why Bitcoin still exists. If Bitcoin was easy to change, easy to manipulate, easy to turn off, it would have been already turned off long time ago. So stupid shit like this will not change Bitcoin. It will not affect Bitcoin because otherwise it would have done that already.
I got you. I understand. I thought you said just that if it depended on humans, then it'd be gone. Appreciate that. Thank you.
No. It only needed one intelligent guy, which is Satoshi, and he kicked it off, and no one can stop it anymore.
That was the point I made, that you don't need like 1,000 people, you need a few smart people.
So,
hey, wouldn't ossification be conservative?
Some might argue that. Dave, I have a question. Why would you even give miners the opportunity to signal if you believe they will wait until mandatory signaling anyways?
I think it's a good social signal. Like if we think past the activation, we will have a good receipt and track record of like who did what. So it's good to give them opportunity. And I think that's the same thing with any influencer or treasury company or whatever. It's going to be a good receipt.
Okay, so in other words, like, I guess, is it your belief that in the next signaling period, the last one in which miners can signal prior to mandatory
They'll all
signaling,
flip.
your belief is they'll flip during that one and not during the mandatory signaling?
Not sure, actually. I mean, it doesn't really bother me when they do it. I mean, they're going to do the right thing, right?
How about this, Dave? You said that there won't be a chain split, but you can at least acknowledge that there can be a chain split, right? Like there can be.
Yeah,
he knows technically there could be.
It can become messy. Like I think it can be a bit messy, but I think that the executives and the lawyers will go into the room and say, hey, we need to look at this from a long-term perspective, and I think they're gonna go with the long-term perspective.
Okay. So it's just my argument for, again, why I don't think you should consider this as conservative, man. Because even if you believe that there won't be a chain split because everybody will just run to the door and flip the bit, whatever, the fact that there even can be a chain split is proof in and of itself that it's not conservative. Because me as an anti-110, hold on, me as an anti-110 person, if I choose literally just to ignore this whole ordeal and just go about my day, there literally cannot be a chain split on my node. Like it will not happen.
Yeah, I understand.
So that's the conservative approach.
Your point is valid from a normal scenario perspective, but we're not in a normal scenario. So I get your point.
Words have.
So what are we in a crisis and an emergency?
Words have meaning.
Situation.
Dude, words
he is full of word salad.
Conservative.
Could you guys just let him respond instead of attacking him?
Conservative, tending to oppose change, restrained in style, moderate, cautious. BIP10 is literally none of these things.
Shinobi in the Matrix.
Words have
I'm hearing him.
You don't have to talk.
He said words have meaning, Wicked.
I hear Shinobi fine. I hear everybody loud and clear. We're all good here.
All right, I was in the Matrix. My bad.
Can you guys let him respond? Because we all just kind of like threw shit at him and he hasn't responded.
I'm not an influencer guy. Like people are saying I have a new account and all that, and that's true. Like I don't have a lot of followers, but I've had like 300K impressions in 2 days from BIP110ers. So I think you guys are just in a box and you're not looking at what's happening. So that's just.
You got a bunch of bots looking at you.
I saw those.
A lot of libertarians.
I saw those.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, the thing is, Bitcoin consensus is not decided by Twitter polls and Twitter engagement or whatever.
Well, if it was, then think about how much engagement Sailor's been getting past few days, posting only about BIP110. But it's not about that anyways. So No one's arguing that.
Yeah, that's not how consensus on the network works, man. Maybe that's like social consensus, but actual technical consensus of what's a valid block and what's an invalid block, no, that's not it.
I am truly happy we're going through this. Like, it was so boring before. All we were talking
Craig
about
Wright got a lot of
bullshit.
engagement too.
It's gonna be really boring again in 3 weeks, man. Like, what are we gonna talk about when this thing fails?
Before this, we had the Wizards. We had the Wizards and the whole OpCat thing, but I knew that was going to be gay.
Yeah, that was.
You didn't.
Gay.
You thought that had some staying power.
Who did?
I thought it was going to be.
I
gay.
feel like this whole thing is designed to keep us from building privacy.
Brian, you were saying how they have the memes, how they created this website. This is Bitcoin works on memes, and they got the memes. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You don't remember that whole conversation?
Maybe I thought they had some momentum behind it,
you did. But that drama was kind of gay. This drama's fun. This is some fun drama.
Well, this drama actually teaches us about
activating OpCat wouldn't have been as contentious as like this. I mean, you can make a logical argument that there's an incentive for them to do it. Because, there's like new transaction types, primitive, whatever.
In my opinion.
I got a question.
Oh, no, it didn't work.
And they wouldn't have been as retarded to try to do.
Do you believe Bitcoin is money, Brian?
Do I believe Bitcoin is money? I think it's yeah, it is money.
Well, but is there a but there?
Yeah, because it's like the bit 110 gotcha. Like, there's JPEGs on it. It's a fucking database, man.
With you. Relax.
Hey guys, who's as far in terms of like who you guys respect technically that's still left standing? Is it probably Szabo? Is like kind of
Szabo is a fucking dick sucker.
No, he has no fucking idea.
Does that answer your question?
What return was.
Szabo's not pro BIP 110 anyways, so I
think Szabo was like paid for or something. Hasn't he disappeared recently? He just hasn't posted again, right?
Fucking J3. He's like buddies with freaking governments.
Oh, with Samson
and Andy back. Yeah. They both got to him.
Dude, what the fuck do they even do? Like, their entire business idea is
they're going to get Bitcoin adopted by governments.
What the fuck does that even? How do they even make money doing that? Like, what's the business?
I have no idea, man.
They claim to do what David Bailey got done fucking stoned on a random whim.
It's so funny though that like really like, when he posts pictures, like when he's traveling and he's posting pictures with like these kings and fucking like these politicians and like, oh, this country's ready for Bitcoin. Fucking 3 years later, nothing. Like 4 years later, nothing. It's hilarious.
Like, are they gonna ask these guys for like a commission if they do like a Bitcoin treasury? It's like, hey, yeah, guys, here's a Bitcoin treasury. Can we get like a 3% like commission fee or something?
Samson's, I guess his biggest contribution, honestly, is probably Aqua Wallet, which is a lot of people use Aqua Wallet because of Liquid and Lightning integration. That's about
because of Tether. Most people use it because of Tether.
Yeah, well, Tether's in a bunch of other wallets.
Not Tether on Liquid.
Ah, true. Yeah, but there's how much fucking liquidity is that? There's no one's even using that.
No, I think I think there's a decent amount in South America where they're pushing it pretty heavy.
Well, whatever.
Not on Bitcoin.
I think people are just using
not nearly
Tether
as
on Ethereum, dude.
Yeah. But I do think Tether on Liquid is cheaper, so there's some incentive to move over if people ever catch wind.
Aren't they doing now?
And on
Bitcoin
top of that, it's
RGB?
more private. You can't.
Yeah, but there's a network effect already. Unless it's like ridiculously more cheaper, like it's the network effect just wins.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see. And I think shitcoins have limited, bandwidth. Not bandwidth, but time to live.
Guys, I did want to.
Oh no, yeah, man.
I did want
the
to.
End game for Ethereum is literally just being a fucking facilitator for Tether.
I wanted to put this question out there,
and Tron for that matter.
Guys, this question out there, and if you think it's stupid, that's fine, but I just want to float it out there. I am fascinated by Jack Dorsey's view in funding Luke and like knots and all that. And so is he, it seems like that.
Jack does, his hands are completely off ocean. He deposited money in there, like other investors. He's not the only one. Obviously, he was the largest one. And that's it. His hands are off. Like he has.
I think Dorsey is literally gonna look at that statement where he called Luke the guardian angel of Bitcoin, and he's gonna look back at it as like one of the biggest mistakes of his career.
That was the problem. Him saying that.
Why doesn't he tip his hand then? Because Sailor had. Why doesn't Jack like kind of like just tip?
I think. I mean, if it got to the point where Luke. Well,
Like, dude,
do you
no,
think?
this
I
goes
mean, I
back
don't
to what I
know.
was saying earlier.
What would happen
Like,
if Luke
Jack
proposed a
gives
proof of work
people
change
money.
and hard forked off?
Dude, like
Well, I think
Jack's giving his money away to other people to decentralize things so that they have capital to make their own independent decisions. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, Jack is taking his own money and trying to improve that situation. And that alone should show that he is proactively trying to improve that type of situation. He is not in any way asserting influence or control over any of the organizations that he's funded. He gives them money and they do
Shinobi,
what
and
they want.
I did quickly.
Plus,
I love that. Hey, one sec. So Shinobi, G Money called us both beta cucks, so now I view Bitcoin as the war of all against all, and so you and I are now we're in common alliance to attack G Money. Go ahead, Mars.
fellow beta cucks.
I was just going to point out, Gregory, I think the only reason why Saylor spoke about BIP110 publicly is because he was attacked relentlessly by Cratter and Mechanic
That's what I
and
said
hundreds
too.
of accounts. Yeah, and if that wouldn't have happened, I'm sure he would have been happy to just pretend like it didn't exist. But like those sorts of things matter. That's the problem these 110ers have is they're attacking everyone who hasn't come out in support of them, thus making enemies. And I think that does play a major role.
Why haven't they gone after Jack?
Because Jack fucking funds them.
Don't give him that
Jack
idea.
Literally gave the only reason Ocean exists is because of
Wouldn't
Jack.
that be something, Gregory? That'd be fucking so
Right?
funny.
I feel like Jack's got to show his hand, man. I mean, he's in my mind.
He doesn't.
No, Jack's doing
you want
exactly.
Jack to come out
is
against
doing
BIP
exactly.
110? Is that what you're trying to say?
When Jack came on the scene, everyone was fucking skeptical as hell. They thought that he was fucking corrupted and he's gonna centralize Bitcoin. Even Shinobi was fucking thinking that in the beginning. Like every fucking person in the Bitcoin space thought Jack was going to try to centralize Bitcoin somehow. Since he entered the space, since he gave fucking Elizabeth Stark some fucking money for the Lightning Labs, he single-handedly has basically helped fund the entire development of Bitcoin. Like, there's other contributors. I'm not saying there's not other contributors. But the majority of the money is coming from Jack. And he's not just funding Bitcoin Core. I mean, he gave Luke money. He started Ocean. He helped Ocean out. Like, he himself is, like, so if I was Jack, I'd do the same exact thing, exactly what he's doing right now. I'd just be quiet. I wouldn't say anything.
Dude, he funded Kalle and, like, the whole fucking team to do a bunch of cashew work. He funds an entire fucking, like the Spiral company arm has a Lightning project. Like, there are some core developers. They fucking throw grants out all over the place for all kinds of projects.
He's literally just throwing money at good ideas and seeing what sticks.
He was before Bitcoin. He was going to start throwing money at really bad ideas. I don't know if you guys remember, but
Noster wouldn't exist at this point probably without him. He's been throwing money at fucking Noster development all over the same way too.
Yep.
He was about to throw money away to like some SJW shit before Bitcoin. His plan was to give all his money away before he died. Like, that was his plan.
Yeah,
Thank God that didn't happen. Thank God that fucking Bitcoin got on his radar.
Exactly. That's why it makes him such a fascinating character, right? Because of his role historically in canceling a sitting president. So he I feel like he could, be quite. His voice here would land.
That's why you'll never hear it, Greg, because that's the whole point. He's trying to improve its decentralization, not become some figurehead totem that everybody listens to.
Right. Plus, I mean, to be fair, like, it's kind of a tough position to be in because Ocean legitimately does have like good ideas. It's just this BIP 110 stupidity that's like a stain on the fucking company.
Dude,
like
data
gateway, good idea. Lightning payouts, good idea. Coinbase payouts, good idea. It's literally just this crusade against spam that's fucking retarded.
Dude, if they didn't start that shit, if they did not start that shit, they could easily be 15, 20% of the network hash rate right now. If they had just launched the fucking pool and not gone off and started this entire deranged 3-year campaign, they could easily be a dominant mining pool. They shot themselves in the dick with this ideological insanity.
I think they'll pivot after it fails.
It's too late.
Gain market share. I don't think
Now
so.
with Luke and Mechanic
It's
at the
never
helm,
too
man.
late. It's never too late to do a good pivot, and I don't think Mechanic.
If Ocean's board can get rid of Luke and Mechanic, maybe.
I think
As long as those two guys
well,
are there.
I think those guys might resign themselves.
It's done. All of the fucking industry groups are getting on board. The pools are getting on board. The manufacturers are getting on board with Stratum V2. It's happening. Like, the working group for that has literally hit critical mass of like all the major fucking players you need to just flip everything over the other way. Like, it's too late. They fucked it up. It is too late. Like, Ocean will forever be irrelevant and eventually fade off and die because they decided to go on this campaign of moralistic purism bullshit rather than just be a mining pool, decentralizing.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Because the other pools are going to start offering similar services and have the same type of transparency and benefits that Ocean has now, people aren't ever going to be motivated to move over to Ocean because they'll just stay with their pool.
That's true. You think Antpool and F2 Pool is going to adopt Stratum V2 or Stratum?
Yes, dude. Did you not see the fucking announcement from like the working group like a month or two ago? Like fucking Mara, Bitmain, fucking Foundry, like all of them are joined the working group. Like, it's over. Like, the critical mass of all the major mining companies are members of the working group now. We are like
Stratum V2, but their UI is still different. Sure, if they adopt like Allegis way of pointing your ASIC to the pool,
they are funding and joint members of an industry-wide working group to implement Stratum V2. It's done. It's gonna happen.
Right. I'm not talking about Stratum V2. That's one way. Most miners, I don't think, are going to be using Stratum V2 or Datum. They're going to allow the pool coordinator.
It doesn't matter. The only reason to go to Ocean is Datum because Stratum V2 is
that's the point.
We're getting Stratum V2
that's
now.
The main reason. That's the main reason, but that's not the only reason. The UX, the pool's UX is much nicer than other pools. Like the way you connect your worker, and you don't have to make an account. That's no other pools really do that.
Dude, somebody with $10 million in hash rate does not give a fuck what the dashboard looks like.
No, but also like they're way more transparent than other pools. Like you could see the hash rate from each worker. You could see the
transparency would also be relevant. I mean, if you had Stratum V2 up and running, wouldn't you still when you have the similar type of transparency because you'll have the Coinbase payouts directly.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I've never mined with Stratum V2, so I have no idea.
Well, in order to actually have the direct Coinbase payouts, you need to know how to split it, which means you need to know the hash rate and the shares of everyone who's participating at that endpoint.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess I don't know. If Stratum V2 gets widely adopted, and then
it will.
I guess the point is that they are. I mean, regardless of whether or not that's the case, they're losing their competitive advantage, right? Of the people who might be willing to switch over, who would want to switch over, the window of opportunity is closing because, maybe there is some, I don't know, reason they're not doing it because of the positioning of Ocean, right? And maybe it's just because they're lazy. But if the pool they're currently working with offers the Stratum V2 and doesn't have that issue, and now you're not, it's no longer like a switching of a pool, then you get hash rate pointing there instead of at Ocean.
I.e.,
I don't know if honestly, I don't know if Ocean would have been at 15% if it hadn't done this crusade. I think
absolutely.
Hash rate,
Datum, decentralized template building, the Tides payout structure, which would have been like an advantage, especially early on.
It's sticky, though.
They would have
fucking sticky.
Killed it. They would have killed.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
there's
man. You could also make the argument.
one of their biggest hashers is using core templates. I mean, it's not like you can't mine them and not participate in the spam witch hunt, right? You can use a core template if you want, and some of the most of their hash rate, most of the hash rate's not running BIP 110, obviously, and then a sizable amount of it's running core. So I don't know if that argument holds. I think the real point here is
They
that
would have killed it. I know
it's
so
difficult.
many miners who would have fucking moved to Ocean if it weren't
Do
for the
you?
spam shit.
Are
Like
those
they
same
would.
are those same miners like really interested in running Stratum V2 when it becomes available?
Yes, they will. Like,
Okay.
dude,
All right.
they would have fucking killed it. Like, they
Yeah.
shot themselves in the foot, just like going on this ridiculous crusade funded by Jack so that they could have their little purity spiral instead of focusing on the core thing that the business was supposed to do. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but Shinobi, in the same vein, though, you can make the argument that the only reason any of us are even still talking about this fucking mining pool with 1% of the hash rate is because of this outspoken social media crusade. Like,
And
imagine a world
if
where
it
Ocean
weren't for
wasn't
the
having this crusade.
crusade,
Nobody would
we would
fucking
be
talk about
talking
them.
about them because they would be an actually sizable pool, and everyone would have been like, "Holy fuck!" Like template, like decentralization.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Template decentralization is more of a fucking meme than anything, honestly.
No, it's
Whatever.
the first piece. The next piece is decentralizing payouts atomically. It is one
Well,
piece
that's the piece that
to a
matters.
multi-part problem. Then the next piece is decentralizing tracking shares. That one, yeah. Like there's steps to everything.
I don't know. I've been hearing about a fucking decentralized pool now, dude, for I don't even know how long. And
Yeah, go yell at Jack to fund more than like one or two people on it.
Hey, Shinobi, I think we want to give a hat tip to my 7th grade wrestling coach, McCoy. And when you're wrestling, he would say, like, when you're on the mat, what you want to do is put a guy, you want to kind of, crush his head into the mat. And you don't really, really want to hurt him, but you want to make him think he'd rather be having an ice cream with his girlfriend. But that's just wrestling, right? And so when you step off the mat, you want to be a nice person and stuff. So honestly,
I don't wrestle. If I'm on the mat with
my
someone,
point is
I'm gonna
about the
shatter their
aspect.
wrist, and then I'm gonna break their elbow, and then I'm gonna yank their shoulder out of their socket.
But I mean, that's
I
how
thought you
I
were going to say you're going to yank something else.
Shinobi knows kung fu.
Like you're trying to you were trying to this most like I don't even see this as this is not even the sort of fights ahead are going to be so much more interesting than this one.
Well,
I don't know.
Greg,
assuming you don't
this
get
is wasted.
propaganda, it's on the wrong side.
This one's top notch.
No, this is wasted 3 years of time and attention and coordination effort and pulled people actually building and working on really important things away from that work over and over to respond to it. Right now, governments all over the world are literally trying to force through legislation that requires your operating system to ID you and verify your fucking age. Do you understand how fast that is going to hook into TPEs and enclaves on the hardware? And then how fast that's going to hook into WebKits and web browsers from your operating system so those don't work? So you can't even use web apps? And people are crying about fucking pictures on their hard drives.
Shinobi, I think
Pull
that I had
your
understood.
heads
I had
out
Make it
understood.
into
of
an
your
eye clap,
fucking asses.
So I think I had understood Wicked and even Calle to say this dust stuff has been from a learning. It has not been. It's been net positive, and you're taking the other position, which is fine.
It's been net positive for plebs learning. It's been net negative for developers and the ongoing
And Bitcoin as a
hardening of
whole.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind it. I think it's fun.
All right, because you're a pleb.
Right.
But I did actually learn a lot about Jack here, so I do appreciate that.
Like, dude, when he first got into this space, my attitude was, fuck him, that piece of shit literally
I had his back.
his nose in the middle of American politics as some fucking entitled billionaire. I had him completely wrong. Like, just end of story. I had him completely fucking wrong.
And that's okay to say. Hodel knew though. Actually, no. The only reason I knew is because I knew Miles for a really long time, and I knew Miles was getting into Cash App at that point. So, and then like
you trusted Miles.
So, we do. That was 100% my view of him. So that's common ground because that was my view. Like, what is this woke fucker doing coming into Bitcoin?
Miles was on the same page as we were on. Like we were same wavelength. And I knew Jack was fucking getting orange pilled by Miles. I just hope that like nothing turned. But no, he was. I mean, every time I talked to him, dude, like he was ready, man. He was fucking ready for this. And I think the best thing that he ever did was leave Twitter.
Shinobi, what are your opinions on the kind of alarmingly fast spread of Spark?
I don't like this at all. Like every fucking wallet that is the normie wallet, that's the quick, easy way to onboard, that's not going to make their head explode or they fuck up and lose their money, is all the same back end, no privacy. And like literally the only reason to trust, like the air quote trustodial dynamic of it, is that unless the government literally comes to LightSpark and asks them to modify their software to steal money, then them making that modification puts them in legal risk, because that's the whole reason they can argue it's non-custodial and they shouldn't have to be regulated as custodians. That is literally the only reason to trust that at all, in my opinion. And again, like I said, that's irrelevant if the fucking government proactively went to them and asked them to do it, because then they're not going to get in fucking trouble.
Is it at all possible? Would it be at all possible? And are you aware if there's anything on their roadmap to make it more private? Is it even possible to do that?
I am still skeptical and waiting to see something actually delivered, but David Marcus has multiple times said that like privacy is something on the roadmap. It is a priority for them. Pretty much doing blind signing like Mercury used to do, where the coordinator.
How did Mercury get, like, how were they private?
Well, didn't, because they only had to do it for one thing. Spark is like a whole factory, and they didn't. Their reasoning for not doing that at first was because, and it is way more complex to implement.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because Mercury was just your transaction. You go in and then you leave.
It's just one state chain by itself. Like Spark is the whole off-chain like tree with fuck tons of them on one UTXO, and that has to constantly like get re-signed and reorganized and all that shit.
Wait, Shinobi, can you explain how does Spark interface with Lightning directly?
It's just swaps, like essentially you just swap to the operator and then they atomically do a Lightning payment and vice versa.
I see. Okay, so the operator is managing their own LSP with channels, and then on the other side you have a bunch of users.
It doesn't have to be the state chain operator. Like anybody could just like receive a state chain and then do the Lightning payment for you and act as a swap. They would just have to also trust the operator because they're holding the state coins now.
I see. But in its current form, it is the operator who's doing the swaps, typically.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, well,
and all the Lightning wallets, all the normie Lightning wallets are using Spark.
yeah. So wallet of Satoshi, Tether's wallet, all of the Noster
The
wallets
new
have
radar
migrated over
signal.
Primal.
Don't forget Cake
Primal's
Wallet.
using Spark too.
Yep.
Cake Wallet too.
Yep.
Cake Wallet. I thought Cake Wallet was supposed to be a
Oh
private
yeah, and I
wallet.
forgot. I think most of the ordinals wallets have too. Xverse does at least.
Wait, wasn't the point of Cake Wallet supposed to be this like a privacy wallet? Is this another fucking samurai we have?
Yep. They run an operator back end, and the way it works is like LightSpark takes all the transaction data and like your Spark address and literally publishes it publicly on what is essentially an off-chain block explorer for Spark. Cake Wallet does not publicly publish the data like that, but they still see 100% of it.
Well, isn't that just a default that the wallet provider can switch?
Yes,
it's
but it
on by
changes
default.
absolutely nothing about the fact that the operator
sees
is
it.
still
No,
seeing
correct.
everything.
Correct. Yeah. So the Cake wallet operator will see it. Any implementation that doesn't have that. Well, actually, no. Any implementation, whether or not they have it, will see it. Yeah, sure. Why don't I don't understand why that's on by default. Why would that be a design choice?
You essentially want a mechanism. So the way Mercury used to work is essentially you would have all of the states on the client side and kind of a notarization of that from the operator in the back end. And then they have like a commitment and like a sequence number. And so when you go get sent a state chain, you get all the data from them, like all the attestation and shit, and you go to the operator and just get like the sequence number and then make sure all the transactions for the whole history you have like matches that. And then the like atomic blinded shit happens. But the original Mercury wallet published everything as well. And timestamped it using their version of Open Timestamps Mainstay, which is like organized. So each thing has a known spot in the tree. Like you want to check that thing, you go to that part of the tree, and they publish the whole series of everything timestamped in that slot so that you can see like this isn't being double spent, like the operator isn't colluding with anybody. And like they don't have blind signing for Spark. So they're just doing the like publish everything. Like the operators who don't publish shit, like you're essentially just trusting them. And like when they get to a blind signing point, like they're going to have to figure out like whether it's just pushing the whole history of everything or like a recursive ZKP that you can add to or whatever. They're going to have to figure out the same thing where like the sender proves to the receiver like the whole history, and then you go to the operator and compare against like an index or a check or whatever that doesn't let the operator see anything, but you can see that like what the sender showed you matches what the operator is attesting to.
Okay.
Because you could just go sign with an old user that you didn't delete keys for like 10 different spends to 10 different people who all have a claim on the same coin.
Are any of those wallets affected by BIP 110? No.
Hey, J25, we don't really raise hands around here. What do you got?
There's all these hands up. No, I was just curious with that. I had a different question, but this conversation made me think of something. So in that scenario, like you're definitely trusting the operator to some certain extent within the Spark ecosystem. Can you break that down a little bit more? Or Shinobi's busy. I know I asked Wicked about a little bit about ARC as well. I was curious if he had any more conversation about ARC than we talked about previously. and maybe compare it to Spark?
Yeah, just give me like a minute or two, man. I gotta take care of something.
Yep, no worries. Appreciate it.
Something else just happened with Arc. Didn't someone just like create another Arc wallet or something?
Lightning Labs.
Lightning Labs, yeah, there you go. What are they doing? What's special about their Arc wallet? All right, finish what you got to do.
I haven't had the time to look at.
Oh, okay. Arc seems to be the thing.
Yeah, that looks kind of interesting. So have we talked about mailers and like bouncing out of 21?
Oof, tough one. Yeah, tough one. I like Jack. I don't care what he does. I like Jack. He's a good kid.
He's a good kid.
I'd say that whole family is good people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him literally as a kid. He was like 16 or 17 years old when he was Bitcoining.
Yep,
so like I literally remember him as a kid. So yeah.
Oh, we're talking about Jack Mahlers.
Yeah, Mahlers. No, not Dorsey. Dorsey's fucking older than me.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing. I was like, that dude has a big fucking gray beard, bro.
Yeah, no, he's not a kid.
Well, this like the talk of like off-chain state being provided by a centralized operator, whether it be like Spark, Arc, or Lightning Network, just gives me big red flags.
Well, the Lightning Network isn't a centralized operator if you're running your own Lightning node, but
right in that scenario, but in other scenarios that are more widely used.
Right.
There's trade-offs, man. There's trade-offs for everything. Like, not everyone's going to get the sovereignty of on-chain Bitcoin, like self-custody. Like, most people are not going to get that.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Agreed.
I mean, most people don't even want it.
No, yeah, look, they could get it today. They don't care about it.
On a silver platter, right? And you said this has the exact same UX, but it requires a little bit more responsibility. You got to write down these words to make sure we can recover your shit if you ever, lose your phone. People are gonna be like, I'm just gonna stick with, this fucking Bank of America Bitcoin app.
I'll tell you what, though, when BitKey allows you to also
when BitKey integrates Spark.
No. When they allow you to actually move,
I bet they're gonna integrate Spark. That's how.
Why would they do that?
Because then you can have Lightning payments on your BitKey wallet. You could have a unified Bitcoin balance on chain and Lightning, and you could start using
hardware wallet.
Yeah, you can start using your BitKey to make payments at Square terminals.
Yeah, but why would you want to carry another device with you with your phone?
No, you wouldn't have to. So one of the things BitKey already does is they have server-side thresholds. So you can set a threshold and say, I want to be able to make a payment under a certain threshold or up to a certain threshold in daily payments, right? And with that threshold, you only sign with one key, and then you rely on the server to sign with the other one. So you're allowed to pay small amounts using just the wallet app. So they already have that feature, but it's on chain, right? I'm saying if they were to integrate something like Spark, then you would have that feature, but also Lightning enabled. So you could start making Lightning payments using your BitKey wallet application, not the hardware wallet. I mean, I think that's the missing key right now is like you've got Lightning payments from the Cash App if you're doing custodial shit and KYC shit. You've got no KYC, non-custodial on-chain savings with your BitKey, but you haven't bridged the gap with no KYC, I guess it wouldn't be quite non-custodial, but maybe trustodial, right? No KYC trustodial Lightning payments from within BitKey. And I think that would unify kind of both platforms. Either that or you integrate some sort of Arc wallet, which would probably be the less trustodial way of doing it, but I don't know. Seems like Spark is probably the easier option at this point. Anyways,
No, speaking of multi-sigs, Wicked, did you set up your multi-sig for the bet?
with who? I've set up a couple, but I'm still waiting on the one with Puncher. If that's what you're asking about.
Gotcha. Yeah, you haven't responded. Why don't you become a spammer and put the terms on the chain?
Nah, I don't need to put terms on the chain. The terms are well understood by the parties involved.
Then you can just
We'll
point
see
there
about, yeah.
and call him a little bitch when he tries to gaslight you.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. You would have a UTXO forever of time pointing to the fact that he lost.
No, that's good.
All right, so Arc.
Yeah, I'm just curious about what specifically with Spark. You mentioned the operator gives you that off-chain state. So, could you talk maybe a little bit about the attack vectors, and then like maybe just a TLDR on Arc, and maybe compare it with Spark?
As far as this is concerned, it's the same thing between Arc and Spark. But the risk is essentially that an old key holder in Spark or Arc, it wouldn't be an old key holder, it would be like a previous VUTXO owner for anything that hasn't actually swapped into a new round yet. But the attack is essentially the operator and the previous owner can collude and sign like multiple conflicting double spending states. So like you could take one state chain and just spend it to like 10 different people, but in reality, those 10 people all have conflicting transactions claiming one coin that can only be confirmed once. And so like obviously like trust is still involved in these systems, like to a lot of degrees. Like you don't want to have to trust that they are not like double claiming money like that.
I guess the simpler way
make that trustless?
Yeah, I would say what would be the
way of
fix?
saying that is the users of these systems can confirm how much Bitcoin is on chain in them if they're paying attention to the rounds, but they can't confirm how many outstanding VTXLs there are, right?
Yeah, they don't. You can't know with 100% certainty that there's no conflicting claims off chain. So the default is just publish everything, and then everybody can be cross like comparing against the one thing. And if you see something conflicting with that, like, don't accept those coins. You know what I mean?
So I played with the new Lightning Labs thing a little bit, so I can talk about that if you want.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
No, yeah. So it's basically Arc. The only real difference is it's a developer kit written in TypeScript that focuses on wallets in WebAssembly. So the idea is that users of web-based services can have wallets instantly based on an Arc system, and you get the 24 word seed phrase, which I think is in a Azid format, which is typical for LND stuff, and you can still leave unilaterally with the by broadcasting the, I forget the Arc terminology for it, but the base root or whatever it's called. So it's pretty straightforward, just kind of like an Arc wallet. The only difference is it's a WebAssembly thing. So they really their Lightning Labs is really obsessed with the whole agentic economy stuff. And so they're hoping that this will allow agents just kind of get wallets on their own and go buy sell services and stuff.
Are they using Second as the ASP or running it themselves?
They are not using Second. It's Signet only right now, and I think you have to like connect to theirs. I'd have to look at the demo again though, but I don't think they're using Second. I think they forked it. I'd have to look deeper on that.
So yay, the latest reason that we still don't have full Bolt 12 compatibility across the Lightning Network. Ah, the crowd goes wild. Thank you so much, Lightning Labs.
So
it's really frustrating, dude. I'm so with you on that. That's so frustrating.
Is the Lightning Lab thing in competition with the Marcus Spark thing?
Yes, this would be essentially like, and the other ARC implementations if they do their own like ASP backend.
Yeah, I would say that this is better from a privacy / unilateral exit standpoint, though.
No.
You don't think
Zero
so?
difference in terms of privacy. I do think the security model is better though, because with Spark, like there's no way around trusting them to run the proper software and delete keys. Whereas with ARC, that trust assumption isn't in the root. Like you opt into it at the edges with the actual VUTXOs, and users can always just roll it over and fully confirm it if they want. So you aren't like de facto stuck with that trust model. You can choose to opt into it on top of like the stronger base trust model.
Yeah, and that's because you're required. I mean, at least on it's called Wavelength, the Lightning Labs thing, but there's like a swap server for the Lightning Arc swaps. There's the Explora thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of this is configurable. The mailbox, the Arc operator, right? I don't know. It'd be cool to like be able to self-host all of this stuff, but I'm not sure exactly how that would work.
I mean, there's no point to self-hosting your own ASP.
No, I absolutely. I just mean that it's providing a service. Like maybe the trust model is better when you're not trusting like a big VC company or something. But then we get into like eCash world. So I don't know.
I mean, ARC. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying there is no path to like not depending on a single trusted coordinator, but like adding multiple ones together is not trivial, and ultimately then all it takes is one asshole to like not sign stuff and fuck around up and like cause problems.
Yeah. Well, Wicked knows I'm not an ARC bull, but I do like to learn about it. So I'm with you. My beef with ARC is I don't like the VTXO unwind. But I just don't like it.
What it is.
Yupper. But yeah, and I also wish that we would just focus on getting the base Lightning protocol built out before we start building crazy niche shit like this, honestly.
Need to do both, but it'd be really nice if, Lightning Labs could just implement Bolt 12 and, stop literally dragging the entire fucking protocol down because they just had to rush in and get a large share of the network and then just not give a fuck about protocol development and spend all their time trying to build services they can monetize that take advantage of shortcomings that exist in the protocol that exist because they focus on fucking services instead of the fucking protocol.
I will give them a little bit of praise though, Shinobi, that they did put in blinded paths and blinded invoices. So that's kind of cool.
Let's make another fucking new format that wallets have to support, because that is
it interoperates with Phoenix. It interoperates with Phoenix, doesn't it?
Dude, the entire Lightning ecosystem is a fucking shit show mess.
I'm not disagreeing.
Like fucking invoice formats. And
hasn't Lightning been
consistent
around for almost a decade? I don't think it's that rushed. They've been going pretty slow and pretty poorly, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm kind of annoyed that, I'm not, listen, whatever, but Core Lightning put out Bolt 12 before blinded pads, which is ridiculous. So at least Lightning Labs did blinding pads first. I'm just saying that's the better way to go about it. Whether or not it's coming anytime soon, probably not, but still. Like I still sometimes ask Rusty if they're going to get blinded pads in, but I know he's doing other stuff.
Well, it solves it all. You just ping it. You hit it over the onion message. You negotiate the fucking invoice format. it sends you the right one. You don't have to care about fucking new things because it just works it out without thinking about it. And the whole fucking reason we don't have this nice, amazing thing is Lightning Labs dragging their fucking feet.
We're the primary developers at Lightning Labs.
It has nothing. It has nothing to do with
But,
the developers there, and everything to do with the company management.
Right. I understand that. I was just wondering the roast beef. And
no, they had their whole hopes and dreams on Tether 18 months ago when Tether was like, "Yeah, we're coming to Lightning," and then Lightning Labs quietly unpinned that from their X profile. So yeah, I don't know.
I was Tether coming
Dude,
to
all the
Bitcoin now through
stablecoins are
RGB.
going to Spark and fucking Arc because it's easier to fucking manage there.
BTC Sessions asked me how come I think Bitcoin. Hold on. What did I say to him? Why did I say how come? Forgot what I said to him. Hold on. He tweeted out Voskel's thing about the IBD improvements. And he says more people should be paying attention to this. And I'm like, nah, they probably shouldn't. And then he asks me how come. I don't know how to answer that. Like,
one that's like completely pretending like let's just ignore all the insane consensus divergence risks of a completely independent implementation.
This is one thing.
Hold on, I'm not done. Also, Ruben Samson came up with a proposal called Swift Sync that just like gives you hints when you're scanning through the old chain on whether a UTXO exists or not still at the current tip. And that gets like core so close to LibBitcoin that it doesn't really fucking matter. There's already people like working on it.
I think that's the next attack. I think fucking Voskel is gearing up for the next attack. I think that's the one that's going to matter. This loop shit doesn't matter. I don't trust that motherfucker. I've never trusted that motherfucker. And just his whole narrative of Bitcoin.
Fuck. It's that simple. He is just.
It's not just the arrogance. It's his whole. It's his whole, like.
Dude, it is pure arrogance. It is entirely arrogance and nothing else. Like, he's otherwise an actually pretty intelligent person. It's just he's so fucking arrogant that he becomes retarded half the time because his arrogance like stops him from intelligently analyzing things because he already knows.
Remember when fucking Amir was like, Bitcoin Core's getting all this funding. Eric should get funding too. Amir's like all about Eric getting funding for LibBitcoin. And he's been now. This isn't new. Eric's been working on LibBitcoin now for fucking a decade. Like this is in long. This is not new. With like him working on LibBitcoin. What's new is him actually advertising all the improvements that you're getting with no UTXO model. Like, he's got this whole thing that he can make IBD sync way faster than Bitcoin Core.
And it's also impossible to prune a LibBitcoin node if you have hardware constraints.
Yeah, so like I have this feeling. This is the feeling that the next attack is he's going to be ready. He's going to release it. Right now, Luke is priming everybody everyone is talking about how we need more implementations. Yeah, what's the question?
Shinobi, do you know where the Bitcoin was forked off of? Well, I mean, it wasn't even forked off, right?
It's completely different from scratch.
But how? I mean, how much is the same? Is he including like Taproot in it? Is it that?
No, I mean, dude, it implements everything, but it is a completely new code base from complete.
Wait, are you positive that it implements Taproot?
I mean, if it doesn't, then like I'll circle back to arrogance.
Hasn't he been working on it for many years prior to Taproot's activation? So do you think he like refactored it with Taproot?
It's not refactoring from like a node and like all that shit point of view. It's just like enforcing the rules against
just adding it.
Like, you're literally only fucking with like the parser and the fucking state machine consensus logic type shit.
So this is what I'm getting at. I think because people are primed, they think something's wrong with Bitcoin Core. They think there's whatever they think. We need a different implementation to compete. I think
Would
that's
be
the attack.
interesting.
I think that's the attack. Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that like I could see the bifurcation being, all of the plebs running an implementation like this where it downloads quickly, it's ready to go right away. A node in a box, you just click a button and then an hour later you've got a node ready to go.
Damn, chain split.
But then you would still have the majority of like the industry running on top of core nodes because, that's who they trust. They have features that are being built
Fable,
out
split
specifically
all the
for them.
Bitcoin nodes off from everyone else. Make no mistakes.
But you're joking. But if there's
then you would actually have like, so if there was a consensus failure, it'd be the plebs who would be split off from the industry.
I am not joking, Hodl. It's just funny.
Like, that's going to be the one that's going to fucking take people for a ride. Like, that's going to be the one that...
I think, but the thing is, Mr. Hodl, the point I'm making is I don't know if there's going to be much economic adoption of it because the only benefit it gives you is quickness. And if you're okay.
Yeah, I agree that if you don't have to worry about IBD.
Okay, thumbs up. Yeah. So I think like it'll be pleb nodes who kind of don't matter. Who download it, and if they get split off, big whoop, they just go download a core node or not. Whatever one doesn't get split off, they just go resync it.
No,
whereas the industry is going to be running on nodes that are, always staying in sync with one another.
In that scenario, then yeah, it's not a threat. But if 50% of the fucking hash power is mining it, and you do have exchanges running it, what?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? I don't think there's no incentive for a miner to be running a Bitcoin node because it doesn't matter for them. They don't mind syncing a fucking node over a week.
Bro, do you think it matters for a lot of these fucking idiots to go running knots? Like they do because they view it as like sticking it to Bitcoin Core.
Yeah, I know, but you're making the same point that I'm making. Like when it's those people are the people who don't really matter. So if they get split off, it doesn't really affect the network that much. And then because they want to be on Bitcoin, they just come back to Bitcoin. So there's really no cost to them either. They get split off. Oh shit, I'm not on the network. I'm gonna go configure this thing or go to a different node or go back to a legacy node and resync with the network, and then you're fine. And in the meantime, network keeps chugging along, and there's really no loss of funds or economic activity, right? And so the real risk is if you start getting incentive for real economic activity on other implementations, and you have a real split in that. Oh, damn it, my son's screaming for no reason.
Fuck yes, Stardust is coming to the fucking Value for Value Fest in fucking Chicago.
We got hands here.
Come on, the metal band that the Bugle Boys are obsessed with. Fucking uncultured swine.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Hey guys, what's up? Hey, a quick question. I asked this question, I think 2 nights ago in Bitcoin Today. I think Wicked and maybe Mr. Hodl were on there. I don't feel like I ever got an answer, and maybe it's a retarded question. So, from like a non-technical perspective, I'm curious if BIP 110 went through, it feels like by its nature it constrains the protocol, and I just wonder if it went through, if it would hamper like future use cases of Bitcoin that maybe we don't even know that we need yet. So to give some more kind of, and I'm asking if y'all think that might be the case, that in some sense it kneecaps kind of Bitcoin or hinders Bitcoin's like future kind of use cases and capabilities. And I guess just to put some color on that is like, it constrains it, and it also reduces kind of that. I would assume I'm not super deep with Bitcoin technically, but it obviously reduces Bitcoin's the ability to communicate across the blockchain. And I'm just curious, like, if what y'all think about that idea that it might hinder kind of Bitcoin's future use cases, maybe that we don't even know we need yet in some sense. I hope that makes sense. If that's a dumb question, let me know.
Can't answer that, right? Unknown unknowns, or unknown by nature. So anybody on either side can say, well, if we don't make this upgrade, then what if it doesn't close the attack surface of an unknown attack, which is what we were talking about earlier. And it's like you can't. That's not a real argument, right? It could go both ways. I don't know, Shinobi. Are there any things that it does constrain? Like, I mean, there are
Quantum.
more complicated scripting. So if you have like a crazy, multi-sig with a bunch of degrading paths and different.
Could break a whole bunch of old school vault stuff from back in the day.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, me and Shinobi both know.
Hash. Like,
we both know someone.
Don't. That would
No,
break.
I'm not gonna say the name, but we both know someone that gets wrecked. People get wrecked. There are people that secured Bitcoin in a way where this wrecks them.
But it's final hash would be broken. Robin's quantum safe commitment thing for BitBM that actually really materially optimizes BitBM. Yeah, like it's insane. It is literally insane sitting here talking about the global censorship resistant money Bitcoin and whose coins it's okay or not okay to burn and render forever inaccessible to them because we are mad about JPEGs.
This would be unthinkable 5 years ago. Like, do you even have this conversation?
It's a great question. I do have an answer for it.
Yeah, man.
Doesn't it break Sutton with AnchorWatch? Doesn't it break Sutton AnchorWatch currently uses?
No, it doesn't break AnchorWatch as far as I know.
Can I answer the question?
Maybe. We'll see. You can try, and then.
So yeah,
we might laugh at you.
The first part of this answer is that Bitcoin is not against fiat. It actually is a digitization of fiat. So when you heard all
no, the wrong room, man. No, we're not doing. Nope, not talking about this right now.
Yeah, why?
I don't need you to tell me what Bitcoin is. I appreciate it, but I prefer it my way.
Okay, so that was the first part of my answer. Now I'm gonna go to the second part. Okay, so if you take a look at all the blockchains, all like what, 26 of them, all of the blockchains that are built on.
Did you just say there's 26 blockchains?
There's only 26 blockchains. I don't know if you knew that, Mr. Huddle, but there's only 26 of them.
Okay.
What?
So if you look at all of the blockchains, Bitcoin is the only one.
Where can I look at? Hold on. Where can I look at all the blockchains?
You
got to run the master node.
Hold on. Where do I find them?
It's called masternode.io, and it will let you run all the blockchains together.
How do I look? Houston, how do I find all the blockchains?
I just told you, masternode.io.
I'm asking Houston. He fucking stop it.
All of the coins and all of the blockchains, or not all, but most of them, you can just go to CoinMarketCap.com. Go to CoinMarketCap.
CoinMarketCap. There's 26 of them. Hold on. Let me go.
But there's another way to do it that's much older than that. But you jump.
What's the other way? What's the other way? Holy shit! There's not 26 of them. There's like 2,600 of them.
No, you got coins running on other chains. But listen,
right.
I didn't get to finish what I was saying. The guy asked a really good question, man. Let me finish. Okay. He's saying, is there anything, let me rephrase this question. Is there anything on Bitcoin that we didn't know about that could possibly get blocked before we know we need it? And I'm explaining, yes, there is.
What is it?
Okay. All right. First of all, there are non-risk assets on Bitcoin blockchain. They're tokenized on there. Okay. Yeah. Second of all, okay, like Turon, TXB. Okay. Second of all, okay, the people aren't even using the blockchain for what it's actually for. You're supposed to be able to tokenize gold and silver and houses, land.
Do you have a hold on? Do you have a shitcoin that you have a pitch for us?
No, but you just carry a what do you call
Is
that
there
thing?
is there a token that you're
Is
trying
that
to pitch
called
us?
again a gazoo or something? What's the name of that thing you just blew through?
Is there any way to tokenize feelings on the blockchain?
Hold on, Bad Dog. Houston, is there a
We'll get
token
there.
that you
We'll get there.
have in mind that you want to share with us?
There's non-risk assets on Bitcoin.
No,
That's
we
what
know that.
That's what these BIP 110ers are after. They want to do two things. They want to control what gets uploaded into the chain, and then they want to, as you all pointed out, they want to get all non-Bitcoin transactions off of the chain.
We ain't gonna let them do that now, are we?
Well, we pointed out that BIP 110 doesn't actually.
But this is where that argument
achieve
falters.
that.
There has been things that are far more worth than Bitcoin tokenized on it already. And so y'all trying to figure out what their angle is, but none of them is going to tell you that.
Wait, so things that are more, did you say more valuable than Bitcoin?
There's a shitcoin involved in
All
this.
the information is on my page.
Oh, there it is. What's on your page? What shitcoin's on this page? Let me hear it. Who's got it? Someone go look. What is it?
Don't tell me you didn't hear them. All of them saying it. They all keep saying it's other things. There are other things we're afraid of. Other
That's
things.
not an instrument. That's his voice.
See, and now look, Bitcoin knows what they are because that's why he's making all that noise.
Bitcoin
knows exactly what I'm
knows who
talking
they
about.
are. Shit.
He said he don't want to have this conversation because you don't want to talk about all the RWAs on Bitcoin. That's what I'm gathering.
You got one to sell?
I want to know about SJWs on Bitcoin.
You got one of those what was it? RAWs? You got any of those RAWs for sale?
Hold up, see, he wants us to believe that he's ignorant, but earlier he was talking technical. Hey man, listen, that's a good tactic, but it ain't working.
I'm just fucking with you, man. Good, yeah. What he said.
Anyway, get the facts over fiction. It's all on my page. I'm gone.
Peace. All right. Who can we fight next? Somebody come up so we can fight you. Is that what are you playing? Is that your voice? That's your voice, right?
That's a kazoo chain.
Oh, kazoo.
Is it
kazoo or gazoo? Is it with a K? Kazoo?
I said kazoo.
Well, I don't know, man. I said gazoo.
Gazoo.
That's a gazoo, brother.
That's good zoo.
I would really like to not have to keep having why putting fucking real world tokens or trusted assets on the Bitcoin blockchain does absolutely nothing and is completely pointless.
Can we go back to talking about how we put feelings on the chain?
That's all we've been doing for the last fucking 2 years.
That's the whole problem. Too many people are putting their feelings on chain right now. Getting clogged up. Too many feels.
So you know what? I was surprised that we didn't talk more about 21, and I don't really understand Tether and I did go.
Jack made off good, didn't
Tether used to be like a crazy, absolutely wild blockbuster movie level scam. And they pulled it off long enough to make all the money back and not be a scam anymore. And so they got away with it.
They fucking made it. And Jack made it. Jack walked away with $3.5 million out of that whole deal. So Jack made it too. Congratulations to everybody.
That's hysterical. So when you go to these Bitcoin conferences and all the politicians and everyone's tether, stable.
Yeah, it's because they'll buy billions and billions of dollars of U.S. Treasuries, and they're now one of the top 10 fucking purchasers of U.S. Treasuries in the world. And probably in the next 5 years, it'll be like the top one if we see people like China and fucking Japan just unload treasuries.
So
the new treasury buyer.
What
So
is
I
the
wish.
what is the Lutnick Mallers dynamic now?
No ties at all, I believe.
Jack left. Jack said, "Fuck this shit." Fuck all
Maybe
this
tied to his
devil
dad, I
worshiping
hear.
shit. Tell you what, man. I wish I could get the recordings back when Phil came on and started talking about fucking Tether, because I did not think that shit was going to work at all. I was like, how the fuck do you keep it stable? What do you mean you're just going to make a fucking dollar and keep it stable? How, like, and then when I heard other, like, exchanges are trying to make fucking stable coins, I'm like, what the hell's the point of Tether? Like, if everyone has their own fucking stable coin, then it's just like you're printing gift cards. Each fucking, like, you know, exchange is printing their own gift cards, basically. I just didn't understand how any of that fucking would work. And now they're the most fucking profitable company to ever fucking exist in the history of the world. Like, fuck me, man. I was wrong. I was really right about Bitcoin, and I was really, really wrong about Tether.
Yeah, on a per employee basis.
Yeah, right.
They're not the most profitable yet, at least.
Per employee.
Yeah, because they've only got like 30 employees. They're headquartered in El Salvador, aren't they now?
Now they are. They were in fucking where were they?
Some
Switzerland.
island.
They were in Switzerland.
Oh, were they in Switzerland? I thought they were.
Pretty sure they were in Switzerland.
What's the history of Tether? Didn't the guy that developed it like drowned?
Brock Pierce.
No,
was
dude,
the
Brock Pierce
original
did not.
founder,
Brock
and
Pierce,
then
no, dude, Brock
he
Pierce.
was the original founder, and then essentially walked out the door immediately, and the Finex people took over it.
Hey, and since we're going down history lane, can somebody, this shadowy figure, what's his name, Davashini or something, and sitting in Austria?
Who? Craig Wright?
Or like Davashini or something, like he's the money behind. Who is it?
I don't know.
Anyway, he's supposedly the money behind 21.
Did you say Davos Sheeny?
Something like that. Like, isn't this a known thing?
Giovanni?
Yeah, I think that's his. So what's his name?
Giovanni was the guy that created Bitfinex. He is the original creator of Bitfinex.
But he's he was like a dermatologist or like a plastic surgeon or something in Italy.
He was something. He had money. He became a Bitcoiner, and then he got really wealthy off Bitcoin. And then Finex was created after that. Pretty sure he's Italian, and he's also the reason. Like, once Finex took over Tether, he's the head guy. He's the founder of Bitfinex.
Yeah, but he's, one of these kind of like guys pulling strings behind the scenes, because, I don't know if you guys are holding back on me or if his name isn't generally understood or widely known.
No, Giovanni, that's his name. If you're talking about the same guy, like if we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, so it sounds like it is, and he's a real power broker, right?
Are you talking about like the original Finex like CEO?
Yeah. That's who. I mean, is he a powerful guy?
That dude's shady as fuck.
He's a wealthy guy. I mean, he started Finex. He got Finex to be the #1 exchange. The exchange got hacked, and then after he got hacked, he got it to be the #1 exchange again. He hired Phil. He hired Paulo. Like, he's the one that said all. Like, he's the guy that got all that rolling. Why is he shady though? I don't understand.
Dude, literally every single person at Finex or Tether besides Phil is shady as fuck. Are you kidding me?
Are you saying Chris is shady? Chris is shady too?
They pulled a multi-fucking-year like bank fraud fucking scheme that they fucking got away with, and then clearly fucking just like went, okay, Mr. US government, we'll do whatever the fuck you say. Buy only treasuries, you got it. Yeah, we don't want to go to jail for fucking 20 years, dead to rights for systemic fucking banking fraud and conspiracy to commit that.
Listen, Bitfinex was on the right side of history when it comes to Bitcoin since day one. So I don't fucking care about what they did with the banking thing. They made everybody whole. No one lost money in there that actually stuck it out with them. They didn't skip. The only problem I had with them is when they started listing all the shitcoins. Like that was my biggest fucking problem with them. But that was naturally going to happen. But other than that, dude, how did Finex screw anyone ever?
Dude, Tether and Finex are essentially an arm of the U.S.
Now
government.
they are. Now, yes. Now, at this point, yeah, because they made it. They fucking made it. They did it. We should be proud of that.
No. Dude, no.
Like they, I don't think the only thing.
Never take the Tether money.
So I just posted. Isabel did an interview with Phil a couple months ago. That was interesting to watch, and kind of just I don't know. Watching it, you get a sense that he's a little bit of a sleazeball.
Phil's the fucking man. Phil, a drunk Phil is the best Phil.
Markets are looking a little.
I honestly couldn't believe the shit that I was like, how is this real life, man? How the fuck? How is this guy like? It was pretty wild having a front row seat to all that. It was pretty wild. And then when Chris got a job there,
wait, when was this, Mr. Huddle?
This was Whale. This is Whale Club team speak at first. This wasn't even Whale Pool yet. Whale Pool forked from Stake Pool much later. This was Whale Club, and this was around 2013. I want to say 2014, and then there was a divorce between a few founders of Whale Club, and then it split to Stake Pool, and there was a divorce there. Then it went to Whale Pool. And Whale Pool is when Shinobi entered the space, and he was fucking there too. Like it wasn't just Phil. Like they were all on there. BitMEX guys were on there. Jesse was on there from Kraken. All the fucking exchange owners, all the CEOs were on there. Bitstamp guy was on there. And because they were on there, because they wanted to know who's trading, right? Like they were incentivized to be there. They were part of like these. Some of these guys had lots of money that they were trading with, and we got close with some of them to the point where some of us even got jobs there. Like Chris was he was on the World Crypto Network, and next thing you know, he's fucking doing marketing pieces for Finex. Like we saw everything. Like when that hack happened, he came like he was gone. Phil was not there for that whole day, but then he came on like the next day, and like he brought this idea of basically creating these Leo tokens, like, and it worked. It fucking worked. Like I did not think they were going to make it out of it, and he redeemed every single token. They made every single fucking person whole, and. Like, because normally when the exchange got hacked, that's it. It was over. Like, they went under, but they fucking made it. Like they made it. I have nothing bad to say about them. Like to this day, I think that during the block size war, they played a fucking really big part in it. Now they are. Today they are. Yes, today they are definitely an arm of the U.S. government. I mean, you can't even deny that anymore with Tether, like being the way what they're doing. But again, these are our spooks, right? These are our spooks.
Yo, what's up, boys? Hey, I'm not gonna say any names, but Mr. Hoddle, there was a guy on a boat. I think you know who I'm talking about. That was the first that I heard of Pepe tokens back then. Yeah. Was that? You remember that?
I mean, I don't know why you don't mention names. He was pretty public. Why? Is there a reason why you don't want to say his name?
I just don't want to.
His name is Marty.
Yeah, Marty was a drunk guy on a fucking boat, and he definitely had a lot to do with Rare Pepes getting popular.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was like, because that was the first that I had heard of it, and I didn't. It sounded like he started it. I remember him
No,
talking
I don't.
about.
He didn't start it, but he was definitely into trading shitcoin and stuff. He was fucking one of those guys that I always used to fight with down there. I went on there to try to get these fuckers to like trade whatever you want to trade, but just park your money in Bitcoin. Like, you know, your final finality should be Bitcoin. Don't park it in dollars. And then some of them definitely took my advice and they did really well, and others just wanted fiat, right? They were just doing it. They didn't care what went up or down. They didn't care if a shitcoin was real or not real. They will short it and they will long it. They just played the charts, all right? That's all they cared about. They wanted volatility.
I didn't know like the other people in there. I didn't know like who they were. I think you know more. I know you know more, but yeah, I was pretty new in whale pool at the time, but that was memorable.
There's a lot of good times back then. Yeah, that was before fucking Clubhouse. That was before Spaces. That's where we used to chat on the microphone.
Dude, we learned a ton. I mean, I learned so much back then. What not to do. You know, it's funny too that it was not all of them, but there was a lot of dudes in the gold market at the time back then. They were the most bullish Bitcoiners.
Saj was there. I see Saj down there. He was there. He wasn't very active. He wasn't on the microphone ever, but he was there.
In fact, you look afraid. Spooks, 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 spooks.
But they're our spooks. They're our spooks.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there, Mr. Hoddle. Even if Sailor is a spook,
He's our spook. That's it. Like, we got our spooks. Like, yeah, there's going to be
exactly.
spooks.
It's like it's Team USA.
Are they orange hats?
I don't think it's Team USA. I think within Team USA, there's a bunch of different types of spooks, and these spooks are our spooks.
You see, you got your white hats, your black hats, and then you got your orange hats.
The BIP 110ers are not our spooks.
Hey, Mr. Hoddle, speculate on the Trump boys.
Fags.
They just want to make some fucking money, man. That's all they're trying to do.
Scammers.
Well, they're gonna get racked, right? Because they're fiat bros.
They are definitely going to get wrecked as soon as the next administration comes in. They're going to get wrecked.
They've got. I mean, they might get wrecked, but they also
we're all going to get wrecked.
Bitcoin on. Yeah,
we're all going to jail.
Unless if Tether can de-risk all of us, it all depends on Tether. Our spooks.
Would you rather have Tether holding 1 million Bitcoin or Strategy holding 1 million Bitcoin?
Tether. Definitely Tether.
Where does USDC fit in here?
Not our spooks. Those are the bad spooks. Those are the bad ones. Those are the ones that we don't cheer. We cheer Tether. Those are the good spooks.
Dude, the only reason Tether got the deal they got is because nobody wanted to adopt USDC. Everybody just kept using Tether.
I'm so happy. I fucking hate Alaire with a passion. Like, I dislike a lot of people here, but there's not many people that I actually fucking hate. And Jeremy Alaire, I honestly I just can't stand him. I hate him. I fucking hate him. So that's another reason why I hated Alaire more than I liked Tether. So I was Team Tether.
I'm gonna be the most annoying cunt on earth for like the next 2 weeks.
Guys, when the space goes dead, I just fill it with stuff. So why did Kamala not go to Nashville 24? She could have, like, at that point, like, she wanna, like, that may have, like, been like Trump comes in there and, like, you know, plays the game. And, like, honestly, I'm not even sure we'd be in worse shape with a Kamala regime than a Trump regime.
She smoked peace pipe with Warren.
Probably right. But I mean, why can't the lefties connect the dots with fucking Wall Street?
I don't know about the lefties, but I heard that she didn't go because it wasn't an open bar.
You know what's
Paul just
really
sent in the
cool
chat.
about a kazoo?
There we go.
You
There's
can take
someone we
the
can fight.
membrane out and put a screen in it, and then you can put your weed in there.
Paul, you're gonna make this. You're gonna make this UTXO fork worth reporting on my taxes.
Paul, by the way,
I see you down. Paul, you're getting my IRS bill. I hope you know that.
Yeah,
like, I'm immediately forwarding my tax bill to you.
Paul,
That's
I
all.
do have the list of Satoshi's coins that are ready to rug for you, by the way.
Wait, what? He's rugging those coins? He's not rugging those coins, is he?
Yeah.
No, he needs 10,000. He needs 10,000 block hashes.
We're not gonna
I'll
let you
pop
up
my
here. Are you
head in.
kidding
This
me?
took like 7 seconds.
Paul, we actually, value free speech, even when idiots exercise it.
You have a lot of firsthand experience with something like that.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. What's up with you guys? What's up? All I heard was because I joined.
I'm going to immediately be forwarding you my tax bill after Fork Day. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot claim any moral responsibility for deranged government tax policy, but I do apologize to everyone for the inconvenience of giving them all free money, giving you all free money.
I was going to say, if it's actually, if they're,
I had a cool.
Do I get one of Satoshi's block rewards if I give you that list?
50. Oh yeah, no, I want the list. Yeah,
I'll
Wicked
take
is
one
making
too.
a list.
I'll take one too, and I will shill your coin every day for a year. You give me one of those block rewards.
It's a highly the Patoshi pattern is well known, but as only me and Wicked and a couple other people, probably some of you guys here know, he's got this unusual slope, but it intersects with some. So there's a couple where it's much more ambiguous. So I asked Wicked, like, hey, can you cut all the problematic ones so that we don't, because we're only taking less than half. So I thought that would be great for that list. We had to do dry run 3 without the list. The train left the station. We did it yesterday. So it can be a dry run 4.
You shot it off the hip.
That's okay though.
Dry run 4. We'll have the Wicked list.
The main,
Now I wanted to say,
I hope this makes you
about what Mr. Hotto was saying.
Wicked. You're an accomplice.
What, Shinobi?
Yeah, no, I'm going to say the whole thing was Wicked. The whole thing was Wicked.
Purely academic.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you can do a project like this for we only raised like 3 million, then 5 million. So if you can do a project like this for 8 million, and then the half Satoshi airdrop, 500,000 coins, less than half. If that's the 500,000 coins are worth more than $8 million, which is definitely possible in many cases, then you're just creating free value for everyone. So I think that's one way of looking at it, that these are all just like, and the other thing is we're kind of trapped in this.
You look at it, it's free Bitcoin.
No, Paul,
yeah, it's free money.
Headaches. I am a broke pleb, Paul. I actually do my own taxes. I'm going to have to do all this shit myself. I don't want to fucking do that.
Oh, come on, Shinobi.
Well, I had one guy who complained about that, and I like that guy, the guy who moved to Hawaii. He's actually a cool guy, but he complained about that. And then I said, hey, if you want, you can send me your TXID and we can like just delete those, or we can add those to the Satoshi set. We steal the coins, then you won't get it.
That's actually a good idea.
And then I publicly dox my stack to you and the whole world.
No, you just tell it to me. No, people just send it to me. And you and everyone else who made this similar request, you and the Hawaiian guy and whatever, everyone else who was like, oh, I don't want the free coins. You can just delete them.
like in a
So that's
set of
an
three.
option.
That's not a bad idea, though. There's probably a lot of people that don't want those coins because it's a tax burden, and they're like, "Here, can you do me a solid? Like, I don't want them."
One of the interesting things while I was looking into this, that's kind of interesting when you're trying to do probabilities. A lot of the intersections don't really matter because the older miners who have those other sloped lines, many of those lines have 100% of their coins spent, and so the intersections actually don't matter, right? Because you can.
Absolutely.
I think you can
That's the most
safely
interesting
assume.
thing about the Satoshi pattern is that none of the 0% of the coins spent, except for the ones
Right,
where Satoshi was like, "Oh, I am Satoshi. I will send you this to test of something."
Right.
But
I guess not only that. I mean, there are some unspent still, right? And there's some lines there's lines of other miners that have a number that are unspent in them. But I'm just saying most of those earlier lines are completely spent, and so you don't even have to consider where they might intersect because it's almost by exclusion of those, the only ones left over are Satoshis, right?
Yeah,
And it's only really the lines that have some unspent where you have to worry about intersections. And most of the time, it's the blocks with extra nonces that are very low because you don't really know exactly where Satoshi pattern starts and where the other ones start.
Resets.
And then it's the lines that are later on in the history, like say, a year later, where you have much higher adoption. And so most of the blocks being mined are now the other miners. And so you have a higher density of overlap. And so, I think the safest approach here is probably choosing the earliest coins and then coins that have extra nonces, above some threshold, or at the very least, you're just looking.
Well, this is why
lines from other miners that
send us
completely
the
spent,
subset.
right?
But, it's the Satoshi pattern, I think, is underappreciated because when someone suggested this idea to me a long time ago about Satoshi's coins, you can take some or all of them. I hated it at first, but actually, when you look into the Satoshi pattern, it actually is really bizarre. Like, he certainly had a super fast miner that no one else had, and he certainly mined altruistically. Well, certainly. So first of all, he hasn't touched the coins, so they're kind of like he wasn't even mining to get the coins. And then one of the more interesting things about it is that Sergio discovered that it shuts off every time it finds a block for 5 minutes. So it's like he mines if no one else is mining, he'll mine. But then as soon as he finds a block, he gives everyone else a chance, and then he turns the super miner on at 5 minutes, and then it's super, super, super strong. So there are actually there's like 4 or 5 different quirks that kind of add up to something a little more interesting in the Satoshi pattern. Which
might have been Lop that discovered that, by the way, the 5-minute thing.
Makes me wonder if he had a supercomputer. Sorry. Makes me wonder if he had like a supercomputer or something. But I'm curious. We can confirm. Can anyone confirm that the 50 coins that were sent to Hal Finney as a test, that those originate in the Satoshi pattern?
So it was
so early it wouldn't even matter. That was like day 3, so it was like who could possibly?
It was 10 coins that he sent to Hal, and then he sent some coins to other people as well. I think even from the change that resulted from Hal's original send, those coins came from block 9. So that block was early enough.
There's no possible way.
I think every block up to, I don't know, maybe in the 50s or 60s. Like I'm not exactly sure when the first non-Satoshi pattern block is, but all the earliest ones are all definitely Satoshis.
I mean, the pre-trading on the coin is only like in like the $30-ish range. So I hope everyone will buy. So you only ask for 50 BTC. It's not really the biggest ask in the whole universe. You're basically asking for.
Just kidding. I want.
That's like $1,000 basically.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
it's possible. 50 is, what is that, 1/10,000th or whatever it is. Never do live math, but it's 500,000. Chop it by 1,000, it's 500, then to 10 to 50. So,
is there
the one thing I did not do is I won't. So I'm guessing you only want the hashes of unspent coins that are kind of
much more
have
likely
high
to be
probability
his.
of being in the Patoshi.
Exactly.
Right? You're not interested in rugging any of his change from known spends or anything like that.
No, I think
Messier,
because there really is a kind of truth to the fact that he definitely kind of intended, not only abandon them, but kind of intended to abandon them. I think he must have mined his own coins with other miners, all in addition to so that's part of it. That I think I would still do the idea even if that weren't the case, because the idea is very, very good. And I wrote the article last Monday about why it's a good idea overall, but still that makes it an even better idea. So just stick to that.
How do you feel about, so on a kind of similar tangent, but maybe slightly different, if we were to have a quantum attack occur, how do you feel about freezing Satoshi's coins on the main chain?
I really like the, what is it called? Hourglass, the idea that only one Satoshi output can be spent a week or something.
Or we could just
I thought that was very clever. Sorry?
Or we could just do nothing and not try to centrally plan markets and just let them do their thing.
Yeah, but the advantage of the hourglass is that it really works very well no matter what happens. So either if the quantum computer is never built, it doesn't have any effect. If Satoshi wants to spend his fortune, he still can, because he can still spend 50 BTC a week, and that's not that's going to put him on hard times. Or he could even go to theoretically, he could go to any bank in the world and say, listen, I have all these coins.
Now we're centrally planning Satoshi's grocery budget. That's even worse.
I don't frame it as central planning versus decentralization. I just think this is, out of all of the ideas, this one, it basically fulfills all of the criteria without really harming anyone. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because he can get a loan if he needs a loan. It's very implausible because, of course, it's implausible that he'd have to spend. He'd have to actually liquidate and consume such a huge amount of money, an absurd rate like that. So then, if your quantum computer's built, it also works in that case, because it means that all of them will probably break all the keys. So there'll be more than one person, more than one adversary that breaks the keys for almost 99% of them. And then they will have to get into a bidding war, which means that it'll end up being 99%. It'd be a 49.99 transaction fee that goes to the miners. And the actual attacker won't have any way of directing the funds to themselves, which is kind of a deterrent from even attempting it in the first place or even going through with it. So I think that idea, it meets so many criteria and it basically doesn't harm anyone. And I think that was the cleverest idea. But I think it's great that instead we are just ignoring all that, and everyone would prefer to moralize over, whether or not we should do it.
It's not moralizing, Paul. It's maintaining the incentive balance and structure that gives Bitcoin its value in the first place, which is that consensus, some central actor, does not override the authorization mechanisms and control mechanisms of coins. The minute you destroy that neutrality, you destroy this project. Why on earth would sovereign wealth funds or people like the family of Saud or actual fucking holders of serious capital in this world ever have any serious exposure to Bitcoin ever again if they saw something like that? They saw us just go, well, we'll just take away the creator of the system's money because it could get stolen, and we don't want somebody to own a lot like that. That's not
what Hourglass does. If it were my giant pile of cash and someone did something, I would want someone to do something like Hourglass.
Yeah, but I would,
because I would say, hey, listen, if it's going to be stolen, then I would rather the thieves not get anything.
I would.
Yeah, that would
at least.
I don't think it's stealing.
Your own property.
I don't think
that's not what's going on here, though.
I think someone building a metal detector and finding gold that was buried there hundreds of years ago isn't stealing. I just have a fundamental different view that it's theft. It's not theft.
What about that forum post from Satoshi where he said he left all that Bitcoin so that we can rehydrate the block subsidies when quantum comes?
Listen, I don't give a fuck what Satoshi said. What I'm saying,
It's a joke, right? I don't think.
Yeah, it's a joke.
What I'm saying is that if somebody does the proof of work of building a quantum computer, because like for a very long time we used to say Bitcoin is a quantum computing alarm clock, and if someone does that proof of work and gets Satoshi's coins, like I don't think that's stealing. I also don't think that's going to be. I don't think he's going to market dump fucking 1 million coins either. Like if they do get that coin, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is all being overblown. I think just leave it alone. It's fun to talk about though. It's entertaining.
Well, yeah, because there's not that much else to talk about in Bitcoin, so we have to settle for 110 and these other easy things, and that's part of why we need something new.
E-cash, baby.
That's right.
Hey, wouldn't a scalable, light client private or information retrieval protocol for balances be nice so that everybody doesn't have to run a full node to not just fuck their privacy to some third party?
Does Vlad follow you, Paul?
Are you referring to because there have been many ideas for that. Are you referring to something specifically?
I don't care which idea. Just go do something with something. There's a million things to talk about. A million things.
We had a neutrino, and we had the block, the thin. Well, there are plenty of people have done stuff with that. I don't remember the details now.
Fucked. Neutrino filters are high cost. That's not ideal for things like a mobile light client. Like we can do better.
These are just forking.
Well, I think we probably will. Yeah. I think we probably will. I don't think that's not like a big bottleneck. The big bottlenecks are that, everyone's distracted by Lightning. Everyone's distracted by treasury companies. Everyone's distracted. People are complacent and they think that we don't need any technology in Bitcoin. We don't need any soft forks in Bitcoin. These are all the big bottlenecks. It's not like,
it's not that when we remove all the bottlenecks, everyone is going to have zero privacy and just wind up using a.
I'm in favor of privacy
system.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of privacy, and I invented a bunch of privacy stuff, as you probably know. And we did the Zcash sidechain was like the first sidechain we made. I did this project Deniability that Alex K. He tried for years to get into Bitcoin Core, but because Bitcoin Core is a madhouse, so. They wanted something in camel case or something. It's just crazy over there.
But so. I want to go find the alternate universe where you accepted that drive chains would never happen years ago. And I want to take that Paul and then put you there because I think that Paul would be a lot more fun. And I think he probably would have done
I don't know why you didn't take the Luke Dash Jr. route. You could have fucking done what he did. Could have set the threshold for 55%. Then you could have tried to start. I mean, you had 10 years. You had 10 years to build 55% if you just set it at a 55% threshold.
Yeah, well, I didn't put any activation client out.
That was the problem. And that's the one thing that I kept telling you. I'm like, dude, why are you keep talking? Why do you want Bitcoin Core to do?
I kind of thought that because I'll tell you why. Because the idea behind drive chain, it only works if people actually like it, which plainly many of you do not.
But there might be, but there's no way of knowing.
The idea requires that there be a lot of people paying fees, that the miners are happy about collecting the fees. So if you're not like amped up about it, if you're not like, oh, I'm so excited to see the new Christopher Nolan movie, Drive Chain, the movie, if you're not like amped up about it, then
it's because
it doesn't really work.
It's the wrong chain. If you did it on like Ethereum or something, they probably would have been amped up about it because you'd want to see all these different shitcoins on there.
They have done various